Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Hades 2 Full Release Edition, and last time we had another successful run going down with, well, the aspect of Circe on the staff, which took us a while before we could make the build work, but we pulled it off nonetheless, and we finished two significant prophecies. One for completing a run with each of the familiars, but more importantly, we also finally unlocked Dora'S memory, which we've been trying to do for a long time. Now, she hasn't yet given us all of the details, but let's just say we found out some interesting things, and I may have somewhat accidentally alluded to a very important thing about Dora'S past without even realizing it. So, I think I now have discovered who Dora actually is. Let's just say, I think Dora might be her nickname. As for what we have planned for this run, we have the bonus bones weapon is the skull, which we have used fairly recently. But if we are to use it here,
why not?
Then maybe we mix things up a little bit, because I think we used the starting aspect, the aspect of Melinoe, last time, but maybe this time we'll break out what is one of my favorite aspects, the aspect of hell. It is technically a hidden aspect, so a little bit spoiler territory here for those who are new to the full release, but this one is really cool because it works a little bit differently than the standard skull. Generally, gonna do, what is it, that first? Yeah, you do that first, and then once you do, your charge special, granted, it would help if we had a little more magic to do it a little bit more. You do the charge special, then your attack turns into a machine gun, which is pretty freaking cool, if you ask me. So this is going to be more of a high attack speed run, in which case we're probably going to want charge special stuff and attack boon damage that comes from probably either flat added damage boons or ones that just have a high percentage bonus, rather than the slower, harder hitting ones like the Zeus's, or probably more so the Hephaestus's. So as for what else we want here, I think we'll probably stick with the gold purse. I do generally like going that route, but another way we can mix this one up a little bit, since we have used this weapon somewhat recently, is we have not really been using the fear at all since the full release, which I suppose, let me just use that as a reason to discuss. We've had successful runs on our first three runs as of the full release. This is a roguelite game. We will, at times, fail the runs. That is, the game is designed for that to happen, so that is going to happen eventually, and it's not the end of the world, but especially as we look to make things more difficult by introducing some of these fear aspects again, that's going to, of course, make it more likely for us to fall a little bit short. So we haven't done much of it as of late, but this time around what I'm thinking is the skull says we're supposed to go down. We have also done more runs going down as of late than going up, but all the more reason for us to spice things up a little bit here.
I swear it, Nix.
And so if we use the Vow of Rivals, this is the one that will make us get the more difficult version of the first, second, and since we've upgraded this or activated it 3 times, it'll be the third boss that will also have the more difficult version, but not the fourth and final. So a super Hecate, super Scylla, and a super Cerberus, but not a super Kronos. And the enemy who we're supposed to defeat in order to get the bonus nightmare for upgrading our weapon aspects is Scylla. So even if we do not make it all the way through this run, then at least if we make it past Scylla, we're still getting something out of it. And of course, hopefully along the way, we can pick up other crafting resources and whatnot, so even if it's unsuccessful, at the end, we get some other things once we return back to the crossroads that we can use. As for who we'd like to use here, we did use Hecuba last time, mostly because we still needed to complete a run with her. I do really like using Golly, though. I love the extra defense that she gives us. And we actually have more of these resources than I had thought, and I think we are currently crafting one more. So let's use one here to further upgrade you. Also, I apologize. I'm sorry. I am pretty sure that I refer to her as an otter. She's a polecat, which apparently is closely related to ferrets. So that is actually what kind of animal this is. Let's see what we can upgrade here. So we can make it more likely for you to give us crafting resources. We can have you do more damage when you block, or we can have you increase our dodge chance. And this is probably what I would prefer to do, although you're not allowing us to do it. Do we have to rank up everything else before we can rank this up as well? So it can't just, we can't just prioritize one thing above all the others, even if this is seemingly, to me, by far the most significant one. Or maybe this is the maxed rank. I mean, you can see these ones have the white text as if they're sort of like common boons, whereas this one says rank 3 and has the purple text as if it's an epic rarity boon. So I don't know, is there heroic? Is there legendary? Can we go all the way up to rank 5? Not entirely sure. But I guess, admittedly, this is what I really wanted to use this resource for. I guess we'll increase your revenge damage. And you can see here the level of each familiar, which is based on how many of those upgrade resources you've used for the given familiar. We haven't spent much time changing our... Oh. Arcana. Maybe it's a good thing that I did check this again, then, because I've never seen this pop up before. Insights unlocked. We may now use Moon Dust to unlock the full potential of each of our Arcana cards. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is more or less just a tutorial pop-up for something that at least I was familiar with, because it did exist in the early access. I've mentioned in passing a few times over the past few runs that we have already unlocked all of the Arcana cards, at least the base form of them, so that's why we don't have a huge need for any more ashes. However, you can also, and also Grasp over here in the top right corner, we've fully upgraded with our Psyche, so not as much of a need for that either. However, if we do the thing that the game was just telling us to do, we can upgrade Arcana cards, and we haven't necessarily upgraded all of them, in large part because there are some that I just rarely, if ever, use. For the most part, the ones that we have active have all been maxed out, but I think this is one exception. This is active at the moment. When we channel up our charge moves, all the enemies move slower for a second, or potentially 1.2 seconds. Just makes it a little bit safer, a little bit easier to use those charge up moves. Otherwise, you're just sitting there and inviting the enemies to hit you. So we'll upgrade that, and you'll see here, upgrading the Arcana cards generally is going to cost Moon Dust, which is somewhat difficult to acquire. Generally, you're going to get it from the Wretched Broker, occasionally the Super Shop at the very end of a run, and you can also get it in a Charon shipment. So it's not quite as expensive as some of the other things like the Nightmare, but it is still a little tricky to accumulate a lot of that. But it's something that we have built a bit of a stockpile of, and already spent a lot of from early access. So okay, we've now maxed out that Arcana card, we have our Keepsake, we have our Familiar, I think we're good to go. We have a plan for how we want to approach this run, I think. Just double check that we have this all set and ready to go, and it means we want to go down.
I'm off.
Okay, so let's see what we end up with here. It's Ares. And by that I mean it may or may not be Ares. For those of you who are new as of the early access, well, I suppose for anyone who's played Hades 1, you will recognize this icon. But he was actually one of the latest boon-giving gods or goddesses to get added to the game in the early access, so I don't have as much experience with him. And if there was any hint of displeasure in my voice when I said Ares, it was because he is also a slower, harder-hitting, boon-gifting god, and therefore probably not really the type of god we were looking for this run. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself.
I regret not having had the opportunity to give you my regards whilst you were here, my kin, but the need to dispose of trespassers took precedence. I trust we may yet meet in time.
Oh, does he mean we did not meet him in person when we were up at the top of Olympus? Well, here he is. And as I was saying, I think an attack boon is one of the highest priorities for our build. But we really want that to either give us a ton of flat damage, because we're going to attack very quickly, so we can proc that flat damage a whole lot, or have a really high percentage boost. However, with a common attack boon from Ares, it only gives us 20% damage, and then he has this Wounds Curse, Your strike has plus 50 power when inflicting this, can be reapplied after 3 seconds. So this is what I was alluding to before. It's a relatively slow burst of damage. So in general, at least my thought process is, you like that with the slower, harder hitting weapons, because the cooldown isn't as big of a factor in that case, whereas if you're using a really fast hitting weapon, like we do with this aspect, at least when we set it up for that machine gun effect, it's not what we want. It's just not mathematically going to give us the kind of damage we're looking for, ideally. So instead, well, ideally we would just not have Ares in the first place, to be honest with you, or we'd have him on our special, maybe our cast. And this one works a little bit differently. Creates a falling blade over each foe in the area for 110 damage. That is pretty sizable. Otherwise, our dash creates a row of falling blades. I'm going to go with this. I am, to a certain extent, trying to avoid any common boons, because we may find ourselves with the option of using the Narcissus Keepsake later on and upgrading one of our common rarity boons into a much higher rarity heroic boon. And if we are to do that, we would ideally more or less lock in a specific boon that we really like. So technically, that's what we really want to do, and then this. That's the combo. It does require a fair bit of magic, so that is actually something we're going to want to be fairly mindful of, is either increasing our max magic or reducing the magic cost or having good magic restoration. There'll be a bit of a factor. Okay, now this is the other god who I was saying is possibly the worst for the type of build we're trying to construct here. Fortunately, we upgrade a boon from a god that we're not a huge fan of. Fortunately, we can pass up on that by going into Chaos, and this is a nice and early Chaos encounter. And in general, the earlier the better for this, so we can get the bonus effects as soon as possible.
I see you.
Get this, too. Okay. Sometimes those little ripples look like fishing spots, but I don't believe that is one.
The fate's designs for us perhaps are intertwined, for we each seek our close kin. I have lost contact with my spawn and daughter Nyx, who resided in your father's house. Her influence remains, yet I feel her absence.
Now, this is actually very interesting. We've heard a few references to Nyx. She is the mother of many of the people who we see in the Crossroads in particular. She is perhaps the most significant character from Hades 1 that we have yet to see in Hades 2. Don't hold me to that. There are probably others that I'm forgetting, but she's certainly very high on that list. So, might Chaos help us find Nyx, assuming that she is actually in Hades 2 in some way? Chaos is the originator of Nyx, however you want to phrase that. Okay, let's see. Our dash makes us lose magic. Afterward, we regenerate a ton of magic. Okay, short term, it's bad. It's really bad. Long term, it could be incredible. That is tempting. Short term, we're very slow. Afterward, our cast deals extra damage. We do have a damage and cast boon at the moment. That is the primary way we are dealing damage. We saw this before. The benefits of this one. They give us all the elements of boons. Helps us a lot with infusions going forward. So it's a little speculative. It's more of a long-term thing. We don't know exactly how it would benefit us, even if we do get infusions, because there are a whole bunch of different potential options. Ooh, I'm remembering. We do now have Ares Precedent. That's the one thing that we do know. And his infusion, if I remember correctly, is quite good. I think it's Earth Boon oriented, but I'm very tempted by this. I think we have to try it. I really want this boon to evolve as quickly as possible, because as we have demonstrated already, what happens if we run out of magic? We are still allowed to dash. We just aren't able to use magic after that. Okay. So I think that's a little better. If it completely stopped us from dashing, that would be a serious problem. But I'm going to have to fight the urge. Oh. That was strange. The way that Erebus popped back up. I mean, I guess it does that whenever you come back from Chaos, although I didn't remember that. But there's just an instinct to dodge. And so I'm going to have to fight that to avoid us accidentally blowing through all of our mana as soon as we enter a room. We get a palm slice from this as well, which does help because it means we're getting a little bit more damage. This is what, 110 initially, I think? Now it's 140. That is already a big burst. It, although you may have noticed, does have a bit of a delay before it actually activates. Okay, Hera. How do we feel about Hera? I mean, we don't have a choice. She has higher damage in terms of a percentage than you would get from Ares. So good from that standpoint. Uh-oh. Okay, see, like, this is where... I know I dashed. I just don't really have many options here. Especially when they're armored, so I can't just unlock them. Okay, I can still do that. Oh, that was still a block from Golly, though. I was hoping the charge special would be enough to prevent us from taking damage. Counted as a block, but we don't actually take any damage. Okay, and we have a limited number of blocks on this floor.
You've encountered mighty Heracles, big thick-headed fellow. You're not to aid him in his labors. Do you understand? He's in the middle of what we Olympians like to call a journey of self-discovery.
Oh, dear. Oh, the phrasing. That is pretty fantastic. Okay, so let's see. Oh. Well, we have a few interesting options here. We can get a high quality, high rarity, special boon to the point where it has pretty good damage, and the special and the attack I think are the two most important things for this run, eventually, once this Chaos Boon evolves at least, so that we can hit once really hard with our charge special. So we could have a slow, hard-hitting special, but the attack is the one that really needs to be a fast boon, or one that at least works well with fast attack speed. So this could work. This could work, and Hitch helps us get extra area of effect, which wouldn't be the worst thing either. So I do kind of like that. I was actually a little intrigued by this Bridal Glow. I wish we had our one boon as something we were a little more keen on building around, because this is guaranteed to be the target of Bridal Glow, so we know this would become heroic, and it would gain +2 levels, so this would become very strong. But I think we're going to keep it simple and go with this, and also, as I said, I do believe that Ares Infusion is quite strong, if I remember correctly, and I think it is for Earth Boons. So that is still a long ways away, and theoretical, may never come to pass, but taking an Earth Boon here could help us. Okay, having this Chaos Boon not evolved could be a bit of a problem going into this, but at the same time, for those of you who have seen us play in Early Access, you will know these two are generally my two favorite boon-giving gods and goddesses, combining them in particular, because that's Aphrodite. She is the highest percentage damage boosting attack on her boon, so this would be ideal for our attack. And then I usually like to have Demeter alongside that on, ideally, a special aura cast, which we do already have boons for, so we can freeze and make it easier for us to safely use our attacks. Maybe we'll pass on this. I think if we have to choose between those two, I'll probably go for Aphrodite, but let's see what we have here. We don't need the healing. Special damage and moving faster might be well-timed, given how we are about to go into a mini-boss fight that we will not be able to dodge through, or at least we'd lose all of our mana if we do it. I mean, it's a little easier to complete a fight without using mana now that we have a little more base damage and don't need to rely as much on our combo. Maybe just go pure damage here. This is a little more expensive.
Should come in handy.
Yeah. Let's do that. And then, as I said, I think this is the one I'll prioritize. Which of the mini-bosses is it? Oh, it's you. I don't think we've seen him since full release. Oh, there's a dash for you. There's a few dashes for you. He's the most mobile, which is probably not a good thing. I don't have enough mana for that already, for reasons we would have anticipated. See, the thing is, though, that you don't have any armor. So theoretically, you are out. It is possible to stun lock you. which is usually not the case from the onset against mini-bosses. Problem is, the way I would usually do that, a little more difficult to execute when there are a bunch of other enemies in here who can explode and do damage to us. And also, this guy hits us for a lot of damage when he does attack. There we go. Okay, the cast took him out. We did take a little bit of damage. Should be able to heal that off. I think more significantly, we did, I think, use up all of our blocks from Golly. But given the Chaos Boon having not evolved, we knew this was going to be a bit of a challenge going in here.
So besides whatever innate satisfaction there may be in beating up that nasty old Titan, is there a grander plan in all of this for what we're going to do? Your little godling brother, is he going to be all right?
Oh, this is possibly the first time anyone other than Hecate has spoken about our brother. So the fact that Aphrodite even knows about that is kind of significant. Okay, now here's the thing. This is the boon I was looking for. 100% damage. It has to be close range, but I think we're still going to be okay on that front. The problem is, well, and it's only level 1, so it could obviously get upgraded by palms and get even stronger than that. The problem, however, is that it's rare rarity, which is this awkward territory where it's, sure, it's better than common, but in some ways it's worse. The damage is a little bit higher, however, it is not upgradable with the Narcissus Keepsake, so we can't improve the rarity that way, and we would probably, in that case, prefer to either be slightly weaker in the short term to then make ourselves much stronger with the Narcissus Keepsake later on, or just have this drop as immediately an epic rarity boon. So we could reroll, otherwise this is also quite good. It gives us flat damage, which, as I've said before, it's the big percentage boost and the flat damage. It does cost some primed magic, but once the Chaos Boon does evolve, we should be able to manage that fairly well. So this is why, collectively, across these two things, I'm such a big fan of Aphrodite for just maximizing damage. I am going to reroll, though. I think.
Something else.
Okay, now granted, we did not get... I was kind of hoping that since there are two boons we would have been okay with, maybe we'd land on one of them. Probably should have just taken the one that primes magic and accepted that, okay, sure, it won't be upgraded later on, but it's at least a good starting point. Whereas here, we could go with Heartbreaker, because we are eventually going to spend quite a bit of magic. Even if that's difficult at the moment. So we need 2 more encounters. Obviously, I'm very much hoping we're going to get this Chaos Boon evolved before we go into the Hecate fight. I think we should be just in time. Oh, that's Nemesis.
My way.
But things like this could change that.
Once I'm finished with the work, I'm getting paid.
There are a few ways you can encounter Nemesis. Sometimes she completely replaces the encounter altogether. Other times we fight alongside her and compete to get kills. But there are other things like shops, well rooms that don't count as encounters, so it could actually be kind of close with our Chaos Boon evolving and when we reach Hecate. Okay, but this one is just, yep, straightforward.
Come on, then.
I did dash. I'm going to dash a lot, I think, because I need to be fast. Fortunately, with all these weak enemies, we can just do this. Nemesis's thing is that she's slow, but has really good damage. Which means, big enemies, she's going to beat us to the punch. Little enemies, though, oh, that was silly to use a block there. I did not even realize. Okay, that was our last block. I was not even paying attention to the enemies that I was not actively attacking. Okay, I think we're going to be alright. I think we beat her.
Take the damn gold.
Oh, I honestly never realized. I did not realize if you lose to her, you actually lose 100 gold. It's not just that you gain 100 gold for beating her and nothing happens if you lose. No, you lose 100 gold. So it is a bet, basically. Fortunately, that's not an issue this time around.
Quit stalling. Sooner you fail, sooner I'll get to show you how it's done.
Alright, that's cute coming from you after we've had quite our fair share of victories, and you have had zilch. Take this. Which Oh, you're going for the shop? Okay, well, actually, shop is not an encounter. This is. So Chaos Boon evolves by going through this room. Would not have evolved by going through that room. We, yes, might have stood to benefit from spending a bunch of monies, but I think this is not the penultimate room. I don't think this is just a free set of ashes, except it's a well, so this doesn't count either. A little bit of free max life. We get healing that we don't need. Golden urn, so yes, almost certainly we would have preferred to have seen the shop in that case. But once this does evolve, I don't think max magic is going to be a huge issue. So I think we do go for this. Generally is the case that would be the thing that we prioritize, but okay, that was good timing. We can just occupy people long enough while they're in the cast for them to get hit by that. Then it's hitting hard enough. That can be quite useful. Sometimes that's going to be all we need. Ooh, these guys are tanky, apparently. Pardon me. Yeah, at this point, I'm just accepting the fact that we're not doing the combo, basically, until we actually do get Chaos Boon to evolve, which it should now do.
My
There.
boon from chaos came alive.
And there you see how lightning fast our magic regeneration now is. We do this. Okay. And that could still improve further, and it sets up the Heartthrob that we picked up. Basically, whenever we use a charge special, we'll get the special effect, but then we get that pink little orb circling around us, and if that hits anything, it does 120 damage. So that is quite significant. Okay, now this may seem obvious. I don't think it's quite as obvious as it might appear. The hammer would usually be the best, or at least one of the best possible rooms to go into, but in early Hermes, he has at least 2 or 3 boons that are especially valuable if you get them early on in a run, and it is still early. So I am tempted to go that route. I think I will still do this, because if we get something that could help our charge special or our attack, then it could be incredible. So it's a little speculative in both cases. Ooh. Our machine gun. Now we can actually do the combo that we were originally trying to set up. Need to get back into the habit. Let's see what we get here. There are definitely a few types of things we're looking for. Specials fly faster, deal more damage for each foe struck, potentially. Special deals a lot more damage to armor. Specials are 35% faster, so lots of special stuff. This is the one that we haven't taken, however, I would say, in general, whenever I see stuff that gives bonus damage to armor, I'm just not a huge fan of it. Because there's so many enemies that just don't have armor. It's pretty rare that you do it, like mini-bosses. Basically the main, and occasionally some elite versions of basic enemies. But it's hard to take a hammer upgrade that is specifically just for those. I think we're going with one of these two. Flies faster, deals more damage for each foe struck. So if we were to get a lot of area of effect on it, which we do have Hitch on our special, that could make this interesting. And it does seem like, actually, you'll notice these two icons to the left are both sort of green, whereas this one is more dark bluish gray. And that is not a coincidence. These are basically hammer upgrades that you would get as an option, potentially, for any of the skull weapons. However, any of the skull aspects. However, this one with the blue icon is exclusive to this hidden aspect. So, think oftentimes, though of course not always, it does depend a little bit, those ones that are specific to the, a little bit of healing, and a free rock boon, which means we're up at 3, which means if we were to get the Ares infusion, we're getting closer to that being able to work. Yeah, I think the hammer upgrades that are exclusive to the hidden aspects might at some time, in some cases, be stronger than the other hammer upgrades. Obviously, there are some hammer upgrades that are just incredible, but it can play into some of the unique aspects of those unique, or those hidden aspects. Okay, so this is a crafting resource. This is a short-term thing. This is tempting, though, because this is basically a heart, except it doesn't give us the full 25 health right now. We would have to heal it off. So it's just the max health. And it's coming at a slight discount. So it's basically like an extra opportunity to buy a heart at a slight discount. So I think we will take it. And then I think we have to go here. 2 boons in 1 room. Yes, it will be a little more challenging. We will have to pick sides here. And I don't know what Ares does when he's mad. I don't think, as I said, he is possibly still the newest of all of the boon-giving gods and goddesses, so just haven't had as much time to encounter him in these sorts of situations. So I'm a little hesitant to make him mad for that reason. However, Aphrodite is the key person we're really trying to build around, unless we were to get some of those high-rarity boons from Ares, so I think we're still going here, and we're going to take our chances on making Ares mad.
Make the
Okay.
sacrifice.
You can see the damage number. You can see the damage number, which is incredible, but that is not the one that we're looking for. We would love to have seen this for attacks. You can only get the heroic rarity initially, though, from sacrificing a boon, so we'd have to settle for epic, which I would have taken, but otherwise we go back for this one. As I said, I re-rolled when we saw this and the rare version of the attack boon. I was kind of hoping that, okay, maybe at worst, one of them would re-roll as a rare, so maybe we just settle for this. Now that we have the magic restoration, we feel a little bit better about the downside of that.
To side with Aphrodite, though for now you've made an enemy of me.
Okay, so what does he do when he is our enemy? Okay. It is pretty much the standard circles on the ground that deal damage. Keep on thinking, though, that our charge special makes us move, and it doesn't really. And that led me to getting hit, which is why I was a little frustrated with myself. Ooh, and then I ran into all those attacks. Okay, so we took a decent bit of damage there, damage that we ought not to have taken. It looks like we took a lot of damage. That was, however, from the, at least in part, the heart upgrade that we picked up in the other room that doesn't immediately heal us that health back.
Do you suppose your foolish enemies believed they had you there?
Yeah, let's see. Now he wants to have the special. Okay, now this is his magic restoration boon. And it's an interesting one. I've taken it several times before. In some ways, it is the best. In some ways, it's not great. Because it's a little less reliable when it comes to pure magic regeneration. We don't need to worry about that as much, though, because we have that really strong Chaos boon that has now evolved. The thing that it is really good about, though, is that it drops these little plasma orbs. If you pick them up, it improves your movement and strike speed, so attacks and specials, for the rest of the encounter. So if you get a whole bunch of these, that means you can become stronger over the course of a long encounter, a boss fight in particular, that could become significant. There may or may not have been some times when I deliberately tried to maximize this and got to absolutely ludicrous amounts of speed, because it is uncapped, the potential. And there are other ways to either get more of these to drop, or to improve the effectiveness of them. After you take damage or a foe is slain, 30% chance for them to drop that stuff, or just hitting them has a lower chance, but a chance nonetheless for them to drop it. Because this one, higher chance, but it's only on kill. Lower chance, but works on hit as well. So it depends how many times you're hitting. And this is also magic restoration. So I think getting both of these I would not be opposed to. Guess I'll start with getting close to a boss fight. Yeah, I guess we'll do that one then. Okay, and I think speaking of being close to a boss fight, yeah, this is now the penultimate room. So, alright, I do really like those plasma boons from Ares, as long as you do have enough magic restoration that you aren't as reliant on it carrying you there, because as I said, it's a little bit worse than some of the other ones on that front, but I think we're okay there. So now suddenly I am a bigger fan of Ares with the more support-oriented boons. Still looking for Aphrodite with the big attack boon, and I think we certainly are taking this. Maybe we can still get some of those boons that are good early on. Your chance-based effects are more likely to occur except dodge or daze. That does synergize really well with this. So that is one way to get a whole bunch of plasma and cause a bit of a chain reaction there. Otherwise, whenever we slay a foe, deal more damage with our weapon for the next 45 seconds. 2% damage bonus per enemy slain. That is also potentially quite good. I mean, this is why Hermes just has so many good boons. I am going to take this one, and it does... Do we have anything else that is percentage-based like that would also benefit from this? It doesn't affect dodge or daze. That means the little bit of passive dodge chance we get from you that is not improved might improve the chance of resources. For what it's worth, all of that's pretty minor. Other stuff? That's flat damage. That's not a percentage thing. That's not a not a probability thing. That's not a probability thing. Okay, so just means that could also influence some of the decisions we want to make later on. Okay, so we do that. Then I think we do take this as well, and I'm not entirely sure what our ideal target for it is, but it turned out to be the plasma restoration, and I think this does already reflect the Hermes boon, increasing the probability. I think I've gotten this combination before, and I remember that being the case, so it's now 22% chance of plasma just from hitting enemies. Remember, the one that we got from killing enemies was 30%, and that was supposed to be much higher percentage chance. We're already almost there. I think we're going to pass on the armor. I know we have taken some damage here, so it wouldn't be the worst thing to be a little tankier going into this fight, but I still feel like we're going to be okay. Remember, however, we did activate the Vow of Rivals here, so this is going to be a super Hecate fight. You will see what that means if you are unfamiliar.
You made the vow again.
We have made the vow again.
You look upon the oath of the unseen night after night, but do you understand as yet the lesson it imparts?
We might be about to find out.
Fear manifests at night. Either we give in to that fear, or we become its cause.
Oh.
Either give in to fear or become its cause.
Hey.
Your words, not mine, though I concur with them. Let us become that fear for one another once again.
Okay, well, this is now the more powerful Hecate, who has some skills that she would not otherwise have, and also resembles... Hold on. Resembles the phased Hecate, the super Hecate in a way. She will always have 3 copies of herself.
How about this?
Ooh. Does make it a little harder to set up big skills, though. And you'll see every once in a while there are the little plasmas like this that are dropping. Those are the ones that give us the extra speed. Can be a little tricky to pick them up at times. Where'd she go? Oh, she phased. Okay. She's getting mad at us. I would like to not be stuck on that little pillar. Ooh, hold on. Not the best place to be when that happened. Fortunately... Oh, and of course, she spams it in this phase. Pardon me. Pardon me. She's gonna do it a lot.
Try something else.
I think I got the last one. Yes. Is that the real one? Oh, that's a bad place to get stuck. That's a fake one. I mean, if the fake one still counted for the plasma effects, that would actually be pretty incredible. we could just farm the plasma effects on them. But I don't believe that to be the case. Oop. She also does have hex effects, like that one there. I keep on acting as if our hello. Keep on acting as if our special makes us move. That's not a thing. So I keep on acting as if it's gonna help us dodge, or have like iframes to be immune to some of her attacks. Okay, she is phased again, and here she transforms us. Take on a lesser form. Remember, last time we were in this fight, we just got caught in a horrible place during this phase. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Speaking of being caught in a horrible place, yeah, maybe don't run into the corner, he says as he continues to run into the corner. Let's get my plasma going. I don't remember this being as annoying, this phase, in previous Super Hecate fights. They may have made her more challenging. Because, yeah, oh my goodness, wow. They have made that rather difficult to avoid. So I would like this phase to end as quickly as possible. Oh my gosh. There we go. Yeah, that hurt a lot. I'd like to pick up those plasmas. They do expire if you keep them on the ground for too long. And that does have a large area of effect. And then she does this. Didn't really see what she's doing. Oh, she's doing this. Well, we have some familiarity with that attack now. I don't remember her having done that in the previous phase. Or in the early access before. The other reason why I was so big on the plasma, though, is because when we do have our machine gun attack, we have such high attack speed. Well, that was the fake one. Oh, we have such high attack speed that we can potentially load up on a bazillion plasmas. Okay, where's the real Hecate? Would the real Hecate please stand up? I'm pretty sure that's the real Hecate. Oh, that... we might have had a good angle to continue attacking her. Oh yeah, just saw one of the plasmas disappear on us. Oop, hold on. Okay, the real one's over in the other corner. Not gonna get you. Not with enough damage. It's a fake one. The real one is the one doing the fanciest of skills, generally speaking. And also the only one that actually chases us. That's usually the most obvious giveaway, so clearly it's her. There we go. Okay, so yeah, the second phase turned out to be a lot more challenging than I had remembered.
Skull of Raval is not a simple artifact to wield, but I can see you two have come to grips.
In the past, when we had done the rival Hecate fight, it generally seemed like as long as you play it carefully, slow and steady, then you aren't really at too much risk of taking a ton of damage, because she had a lot of things going on in general, but few things that would really punish you, or at least the things that would, were easily enough to be avoided. But it's maybe not quite as much the case anymore. But I did get stuck in a few places that were less than ideal. That may have also been a factor. There are the crafting resources. There was a golden urn in here. I think we must have destroyed it somewhere along the way. Fortunately, we will get the chance to heal here. Not just from walking into some rooms, but also by getting the well, of course.
Well done.
The fountain. No trash talking. Just double check. We do not have any common rarity boons that we're looking to upgrade with Narcissus, so I think that means we're just going straight into the heal. And here, this is where, if we have a specific type of thing that we are looking for boon-wise, it could make sense to go with Aphrodite here. Increase the chances of her showing up, and it becomes another way to basically guarantee that we're going to get at least an epic rarity attack boon from her. So I am strongly considering that. The opportunity cost
Could try a different one.
is that means we're either passing on Moonbeam, which would often be the keepsake we'd use on either this floor or the next one, or this, which I suppose does serve a similar purpose, because this would be also a way to increase the likelihood of us getting a high rarity Aphrodite boon, though in just a slightly different way. Or last time we actually took the concave stone in one of the middle floors, and that proved to be pretty useful. But that percentage is definitely higher than it was before. After choosing boon, 38% of the time. One more once this night. Why is that? That definitely was either 30 or 33 before? There's no way it was 35. I'm just not super clear on how that number changes. Does it increase over the course of a run? Maybe, just to make it more likely that you're actually going to have that proc by the time the run is over. Because if it were 30% on the final floor, that's like, oh, you don't have a lot of time. Maybe it's just never going to proc, and then your keepsake is kind of bricked. But, I don't know. Maybe I'm just misremembering. Okay. We do already have Aphrodite Precedent is the thing, so there is a chance we could just stumble upon that Aphrodite boon without needing to force feed it. And without these extra ways to rarefy it, in which case we can still get the best of both worlds. We do not yet have any Selene stuff going on, so we're a little behind schedule with that. However, we do have the means to spend a lot of magic, so there is a lot of potential still, even if the Selene boons
Very well.
are not yet with us. We are still not at full health. We will get some upon entering the next area, but I am a little tempted to go this route. I think the timing here is a little bit awkward, because we don't know for certain if we'll get a full-blown shop while this is still here. I think we're taking this. It's relatively inexpensive. And then we proceed
Into the depths.
And yes, remember, we are going to have a rival skill fight as well. And if we can defeat her, then at the very least we will get, for sure, the Nightmare bonus from having all this fear active. So even if we don't make it all the way to the end of the run, that is our key goal, our key sort of baseline goal. Okay, then here... That's more so what I tend to be looking for.
Right.
Please don't do that. It'd also be interesting to see if, when you blocked, we still were able to pick up the plasma. So there you see, like in that encounter, we got 7 plasma, which means, I think it's 1% extra speed, movement speed and strike speed per plasma, if I'm not mistaken. Does it say? Surely it does, right? It just says currently 7%. Yeah, I think that means plus 7%
More ashes.
on both of those things. Okay. So... Bones, probably more useful when we get back, but it's 5 magic, which is not as meaningful as 5 life. Is 5 life going to be a difference maker? Unlikely, but you never know. Actually, how many bones do we have, out of curiosity? Not a lot. I think we're still going to do this. Play it a little bit safe. Nope, don't do that. Don't do that. Also, I'd like the plasma, please. Thank you. Okay. Fairly
In we go.
short and simple encounter. Okay, so we do get a shop here. We had one shop on the previous floor, and we did a little bit of stuff at mini shops, so we have still a good amount of gold, but we aren't going to have a ton if we spend aggressively here, especially if you consider that we're going to have a guaranteed shop in the second to last room, although we could also get a free boon in the other room if we really wanted to. And these alternative rooms are not especially exciting, so you know, I think we will still go for it. A little bit of stuff here. I'm mining that, and now, not thrilled about this. not thrilled about it because
What do we have in stock?
that's not very helpful. We don't really need more magic. And then Poseidon, we do not yet have him, and I'm not really sure that he was someone we were looking for. Wait, what was the... Oh, we do have that Hermes boon that gives us the greater probability of probability-related things happening. And Poseidon does have a lot of those. So maybe that's what we're looking for here, rather than a more straightforward damage dealing type of thing. Like this, for example. Sea Star, when you claim rewards other than boons, we got this in the previous run, and it procced quite a bit. I don't know if this is already getting increased by this, or if it's only going to reflect that once we actually select it. I feel like it is already reflecting that, because 52% would otherwise be a very strange number. But I think we're taking it. Just verify. Yeah, 52. I mean, that's a really high percentage chance, of course. And then here... So this is a mini-boss, and it has Apollo. We do not yet have Apollo. So I was really hoping we were going to continue to double and triple down on Aphrodite and Ares, which is why I'm not especially keen on seeing these other gods and goddesses show up here. We did take the Moonbeam keepsake, and we have yet to cash that in. We don't even have a hex at all at the moment, so I do think this benefits us more, certainly at least in the short term. So we can actually benefit from... Oh!
Got you.
I've never seen this. Huh.
I bid you welcome.
I've never seen that mini-boss in... That was... Oh no, this was not a mini-boss room. Right. One of them was a mini-boss. That was the one we didn't take. That's why I was so surprised. I was like, huh? Is this supposed to be the equivalent of a mini-boss encounter? Yeah, there's a bunch of those guys, and they do have armor, so they are technically elites, but... Didn't seem like that was strong enough to be equivalent to a full-blown mini-boss, but okay, this is what we were looking for, and I do think I was trying to gift to Selene, because it looked like there was an indicator that she was going to give us something in return next time we gift a nectar to her, so let's give it a shot.
To you, Selene. I never feel lost knowing the moon herself is there to help me find my path.
Yeah, reminder, she's not the goddess of the moon, she is the moon.
You are most kind to honor me this way. It doubtless shall sustain my steeds and me on long nights such as these. You have our thanks.
Okay, well, maybe it didn't actually... Oh, it fulfilled a prophecy. Okay. I'll have to check out that, I guess. Not sure what that's all about. As for the actual boon...
That moonbeam of yours has grown exceptionally bright within your care. It shall illuminate your path forevermore, its power at its peak. And whenever you have need of me, I shall be there.
Why, thanks, Selene. Moonbeam is the name of one of her specific hexes, and it is possibly my favorite one. It's sort of like the laser beam one that does a ton of damage in front of you. And we have certainly maxed it out in the past, at least once before. So I wonder if that's why she's name-dropping that here? Oh. Okay. Well, we have the icon for both of these, which means we already have the potential to get the duo boon value on them. Your hex turns you into an impervious living nightmare. Oh, I have seen the duo boon for this one. This is with Aphrodite. I was kind of underwhelmed by it, to be honest with you. Maybe I just wasn't getting it quite right, setup-wise, but I'm not, in general, not a huge fan of the base version of this hex in the first place, and then the way that it improved with Aphrodite. I can't remember what it even did. I just remember feeling like, this wasn't the run-defining hex that I would have expected from a duo Selene boon, whereas this one raises the last susceptible foe slain in an encounter to fight alongside us for 12 seconds. This is with Hera, and we have seen this already fairly recently, and we do know this one can be run-defining. It can be incredible. So, I mean, from that standpoint, it's not like we're exploring something new in either case. I know we have done this more recently, but I think we will still go for it, because I do kind of think it's better. Ooh, okay, now this is what I'm looking for, then. High rarity Aphrodite boon. It is a mini-boss. But we are hopefully strong enough that that will not prove to be too much of an issue. We'll see which one we get. Okay, I do think this is the easiest one.
I'm back.
That was complete luck that I did not get hit by the other projectiles there, because I was not paying any attention to them. I was just focusing on the little guys. Ooh. Is it just you now? There's also a fishing spot. Okay, that's another one of the branching projectiles. I suppose we can do this. There you go. Oh, he's over here. I guess this guy can't move. The guy that we summoned. But there's the machine gun effect for you. And that's before we upgrade it with any sort of Aphrodite attack boon, which we are hoping that we will see here. And if we don't, this is definitely going to be something we want to reroll.
In the name of Hades.
Let's see. We do get it. It is once again the awkward, rare rarity. Oh, man. Do we take our chances and try re-rolling, see if we get a higher rarity version of it, or even, I mean, I don't think it's possible to get a common rarity boon out of this, because this is a mini-boss encounter and it's supposed to give us higher rarity, although I feel like in the past I've tried these types of things, re-rolling these types of things, and when you re-roll, that no longer is the case. I'm gonna give it a shot. This is very risky. Okay, we do not get the attack boon, which is in some ways what I was saying is I mean, honestly, in that case, I guess I should have just taken something like Spiritual Affirmation, because we saw that in the previous one, and it's the same rarity as it was then. So, I think we go for it, mostly because it equates to getting more life. The extra magic is not a huge deal for us. Otherwise, it's more damage while we have at least 80% life. It's, well, it's 7% bonus damage across the board all the time. 14% more damage if we have 80% health or more, which is the case right now, but just the number on this one is never big enough to really get my attention. So I'm going to go with this. It's the safer option. And we're going to go here to fish.
The hunt begins.
I guess fishing is a form of hunting, in a way.
On the hook.
There we go.
Ooh, a stockfin.
Oh, and that gave us a free water boon. We do have a lot of earth and water boons now. So, again, that Ares infusion, theoretically, I don't remember exactly what it is. I just remember we've had it before, and I really liked it, if you can get up to the necessary threshold for it. Okay, so this is either gold or Narcissus. And I've mentioned this before. In general, I do feel like Narcissus is the least rewarding of all of the friendly NPCs, so I have skipped him on several occasions. However, I'll give him a shot. We'll see.
So muddy. Ugh, can't quite make out. An eye, a nose. Ugh.
And I do think that, in part for that reason, I have not progressed his personal plotline, his character development, as much as I had with some of the other friendly NPCs in all likelihood. Rude.
Oh, hey. Yeah, I'm still here and everything. Though I've been thinking of a visit to the fields one of these days. Nights? I don't know.
Oh, the fields. That's where Echo is, and we have reason to believe that he and Echo have some kind of history with each other, although we still don't really know to what extent that is the case.
Take all the time you need. I know it must be difficult, and the trip is treacherous. You could accompany me if you wish.
Don't think that's gonna happen?
Sounds like a date. No thanks. I get around just fine all by myself. But for now, I can still see a bit of me in here if I squint hard enough. It's a good look.
Oh no. Alright, so we receive a bunch of silver, which is a crafting resource, and 100 gold. Okay, the other room would have given us 100 gold, so I guess at least it's actually a little more value than that, although we would have presumably gotten a little bit of gold from defeating enemies in that area as well. Could have potentially taken damage, though. Receive max magic and psyche, because this is the thing, he gives a bunch of crafting resources, but in many cases these are crafting resources that are useful early game, but if you've been playing for a while, they just aren't that relevant. anymore. Psyche and Ashes, for both of those, we've, for the most part, used all the ones that we'll need. Silver, it's the mining resource from the very first floor in the underworld, so it's fairly common. There, I think, is still 1 or 2 weapon aspects that use this that I have not yet upgraded, although that may just be because I haven't gotten around to doing it, not because we actually need the silver. I think we're still taking this one, though. We don't need the healing anymore. Max magic, not really necessary. So I think it's gold, and maybe the silver does something.
Thank you.
It is a sizable chunk of it, I suppose. And then, okay. Ashes here. Hold on. I wanted to do this first. And then I meant to side dash, but I didn't. So I took a hit. Mistakes were made. Not gonna lie. The plasma does look a little bit... Or no, not the plasma. Is it the plasma? Yeah, the plasma looks a little bit like those projectiles. Oh, thank you, terrain. Yeah, the projectiles that shoot out of those things, they stun, but they don't deal damage. The steam that comes out of these, that does deal damage. Oh, okay.
Tucked away.
Get bonus from the, it's a 50% chance, basically, to get bonus of that from the, Poseidon boon. Okay, so maybe... Okay, it's 10 max life total. That's a little more significant. And now this is where... This has to be, yeah, penultimate room. So either shop, where we can potentially buy multiple things, or we get a free palm. I think we're still looking shop. Half expecting Nemesis. Okay, no Nemesis. I'm gonna buy this immediately in case she decides to show up somehow. Okay, this is what I've been looking for, and in some ways, even though this is a lower rarity, I prefer this. Because it means on the next floor, we can use the Narcissus Keepsake and immediately upgrade this to Heroic Rarity, which would of course be better than the Rare Rarity that we've turned down now multiple times. I know this damage number is ginormous, so it looks really tempting, but I'm trying to get a number like that for attack. So that's eventually the goal with that. And then I think we're still passing on both of these. So we just really don't need the magic, assuming that our magic restoration between the Chaos Boon and the Plasma is going to be sufficient. And the 100 gold very well could be useful later on, and then this is, you know, not really that meaningful for us. Okay. Hello, Charon. Indeed. I agree. So this is going to be, remember, the rival or Super Skilla fight. And if you are unfamiliar with this one, well, we haven't done it since the full release. So I suppose there is a chance that it has been adjusted, since it was a relatively recent addition in the early access. However, I would say that, at least based on the early access fight, this probably is the single most dangerous encounter we will have in this run. Is it as... And I'm sure your immediate question is, well, Lids, surely it's not harder than Chronos. Maybe not. However, it is significantly earlier in the run than Chronos is. So obviously we're not as strong as we would be at the end of the run. So for where it is in the run, it can pose some very significant challenges. So if we are to hit a major roadblock, this would be it. Hopefully, though, now that we have picked this up, that will help. Again, it's not quite as strong as it will be as soon as we get to the next room after this, but hopefully that's still good enough. And then we do have, well, some other things along the way. You'll see why this fight is such a big deal, because as we hop in here, and if we defeat this fight, then we get the bonus of Nightmare.
You expect me to believe that neither I am gonna claw nor bewitching eyes concern our meetings. Though if you're drawn to me, you have an odd way of showing it.
So those are references to two of Skilla's other songs, but you'll notice this arena is a little more crowded than it would usually be. And as I mentioned when we first saw this rival Super Skilla encounter, this is technically mythologically accurate. This, oddly, not the band part, but the combination of Skilla and her latest friend to join the band.
No way! You're the one who always shows up here, lady.
one to me. Or when there are more of us, Jetty knows it, Roxy knows it, everyone in Oceanus knows it.
Oh, come on, Skilla. I'll admit I don't dislike your songs as much as I previously let on, but that's as far as I'll go.
She does have one or two bangers, for sure.
Oh, you hear that, gals? That's as far as she'll go. I told you. Now either she gets off the stage or we do.
Okay, so this fight is extremely difficult. He says as he immediately blows through two of his resistances that were otherwise going to be extremely valuable to him. The reason, primarily, why it is so difficult is because this area right here gets extremely congested, but it also has the single most important enemy for us to take out, which makes it very challenging to do that safely. In general, there are a bazillion things going on in this fight, so finding ways to take out some of the enemies quickly so that it is not as chaotic is the key. And so the drummer was my #1 priority. We did get rid of her, and that was because she is the one who will dictate when you need to, hold on. Whoa, hold on. She's the one who forces you to either go in that tiny little area in the middle. Oh, that's bad. Or I wasn't sure if I was out of range there. Hello. She either forces you to go right next to her or very far away from her. And so she's the one who dictates your positioning probably more than any other enemy. And in a crowded encounter such as this, oh, that was so stupid. I just waltzed straight into that. Just finding ways to make this less chaotic. That's the key. So prioritize the drummer. That's my advice in both the base skill of fight and also the super skill of fight here. And if you can get rid of... Oh, that was in range. Darn it. You can get rid of some of those guys. The individual... Oh, yeah, they're all gone now. The individual tentacles of... This is Charybdis, in case that wasn't clear. Usually, Charybdis gets introduced at the beginning. I was actually kind of surprised that he didn't get introduced this time. Charybdis is technically the one who's shooting these bouncing projectiles, I believe. But now, Skilla is invulnerable because, much like with the base skill of fight, she has to be the last one to... Oh dear, I won't be standing there. And that explodes. Okay, and now we're back to really wanting to get you. The other problem is that there's a stunning environmental effect right there in that area where, once again, all this stuff is going to be happening. Oh, I almost dodged into that. That's happening. Nope, I need to get rid of the drummer. I need to get rid of the drummer. I did. Okay, good, good. That was key. Now I can bring back the drummer as well. That's another really cool thing. You can, if you've killed one of the... Oh dear, that's a horrible place to stand. I'm pretty sure I brought her back. If you have the hex that resurrects enemies... Hold on. And then you use that hex after having destroyed... Well, okay, well that time it's now going to be one of them. Okay, I would like for that to be one of the sirens, preferably. That guy's not doing much. I wanted it to be the drummer. It might have been the drummer for a brief moment there. I think there actually is an achievement for doing that. I have done it before, I think. I'm a little surprised. I didn't have it. But if we do it now... No! Give me Jetty! Okay, now we have to... Ooh, hold on. Get rid of a few more of these guys. So they have a melee attack. They do also have a projectile attack. They aren't that difficult in a vacuum. The problem is, as with so many things in this fight, that when there's a bazillion things going on, it's more difficult to avoid them, as evidenced by how I did successfully... Oh, okay. That one I'm really mad about. My controller / the game legitimately forced me to go in the opposite direction that I was pointing the joystick. That's really frustrating. I don't know why it insisted on me going in the wrong direction and forced me to take a hit. Fortunately, I think we can still pull this off here, but that is not exactly damage that I was planning to take. Okay. Now it's you. Drop that. It's similar to the first, the base Skilla fight, and that she summons all those fishies. Down she goes. There have absolutely been times when I've lost to the Super Skilla fight.
Your rival has fallen.
But we have now completed what we needed to complete in order to get the Nightmare bonus. We have defeated Skilla with 8 fear. So there is the Nightmare. So this is the primary way that you will get Nightmare over the course of Hades 2. It will randomly switch which boss you have to defeat, and the amount of fear that you need will be dependent upon how much fear you have completed, how many fear bonuses you've already gotten with whatever weapon you're using. But on this occasion, that was the threshold we needed to reach. So we can carry on. Let's just see if there's any lore-related stuff. I don't think so. So now, even if we are unsuccessful for the rest of the run, then at least we still get that Nightmare there. And there are still other ways to get it, but this is one of the most consistent ways, at least, if you're up for the challenge. It is interesting to see the set design is a little more elaborate, of course, and the aesthetic that Skilla and the Sirens had for this fight was also a little bit different as well. So no Death Defiance is used. That is very good news.
Mind getting that for me?
Get a little bit of healing just from walking into the room, and we will get more from this. However, before we do so, I want to throw this on. Just double check. I believe we only have one common rarity boon. Is that the case? I believe it is just Flutter Strike, which means we can get some crazy damage. It's 80, right? 80%? As a normal rarity boon? Yep, 80% unupgraded. Throw this on. It'll also give us more healing over here, which I think is actually kind of relevant, because it now maxes us out, and now that is 140% damage, and if we are to get any extra levels on this, then obviously that number can go up even higher. So that was the thing that I was really trying to set up, and why I was making a big deal about trying to re-roll and avoid having rarity, because we are only able to do what we just did if it is a common rarity boon, and because it was the only common rarity boon that we had, we knew that was going to be the one that got rarefied. Okay, don't need that healing anymore. Get a free... It costs us 55 gold, but we don't have to take any damage upon going into the Chaos Room, and it happens right at the beginning of the floor, which is nice. So I think we might want to go for that.
Fair trade.
Sometimes you'll see lore-related stuff in here, though I don't think that is the case. This is sort of supposed to be backstage, behind the set. So you can see, like, the mirror where they're probably doing all their makeup and trying on their costumes and whatnot, so that's also kind of clever. I think the first time you defeat Skilla, you get some lore here that sort of explains that, but it just... And there are 3 of the seats, because there are 3 members of the band, so it's just a clever touch. Okay. So that was Super Skilla. We do still have one more Super Boss. We will have Super Cerberus. So it'll be a challenging fight, for sure, but there are not as... The stakes are not as high because, technically, we don't have as much to gain from defeating him, other than just proceeding to the rest of the run. Okay, and yes, Chaos Gate. The alternative would be gold plus palm, but I think that's a reasonable thing for us to skip in order to go to this Chaos Room that we have paid for.
Won't hurt at all.
It won't this time. Ooh. Several bonus resources as well.
It's yours.
And that gives us a free fire boon equivalent. Okay, well that's our first one of those. So fire is not the element we've been going for as of late. on this run, but now
Chaos, I heard your call.
do still need to be careful of what the downsides are. For the next 6 locations, location reward is hidden, so we don't know what we're getting ourselves into. However, afterward we gain a Death Defiance. That is a legendary boon from Chaos. So that's certainly tempting, although there's a heroic one as well. Next 5 encounters, your Arcana cards have no effect. I don't know if I've ever seen that downside before. Afterward, we restore 20 magic every 1 second. Well, how much did we get from our previous Chaos boon? 17.5? I don't really think we need another 20% on top of that. Or the low rarity one is next 4 encounters, we have less max life. Afterward, we use less magic. I, again, don't think that's very helpful. In fact, you could argue that's counterproductive because it makes it so that our Hex takes longer to charge up. So, we haven't used any Death Defiances yet, but it wouldn't be a horrible thing to get that here. I mean, honestly, you could make the case that losing the location reward preview is a pretty significant downside if we... Well, no, we got our key thing we were trying to build around. So I guess we can be flexible. We'll go for it. We'll do it. So that's what... Oh? Wait, what? Why are there... Oh, okay. I was like, why are there 2 here and only 1 here? I thought that was a second entrance over there. So why is there 1 tiny little spot in the corner? No, okay. Technically speaking, you actually could gather some information from this having 2 rewards and this only having 1. This means this is a standard room in this area, whereas this is not. This is either a mini-boss or Echo. I don't really think Echo happens this early on, so I suspect this is a mini-boss. That might still be okay. Let's do it. Let's see which one we get. Is it? It is.
My blood is not for you.
It is a vampire dude
Back to dust.
who does have one of those attacks. This guy has messed me up on some prior occasions. If he does hit you, have a ton of damage. Also, he has a bunch of healing, as you just saw there. Oh, that's a friendly one. Okay. He has a multi-hit combo, which can be a little deceptive. You think it's over, and then it isn't. Ooh, stop that. Like that, for example. Oh, but yeah, oh my goodness, if he hits anything, he gets basically full health back. This might be a situation in which we actually don't want to summon our minion. Otherwise, he might benefit more than we do. So technically, we farm up those guys. We can get ourselves a little bit stronger. So, this is theoretically a situation in which we could make this fight go on indefinitely by continuing to allow him to heal and allowing us to farm up extra plasma if we really wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it, but it is technically an option. Instead, we should probably defeat him without taking any damage. That's probably preferable, and it is a guaranteed high rarity Aphrodite, which is probably what we would prefer. Could even be a duo or a legendary.
As Lord Ares here knows, but I keep telling him the great conquests of love are more thrilling than the great conquests of war.
Oh, hold on.
I do enjoy a good protracted fight, my lady Aphrodite. To me, conquest is conquest. Whether on the battlefield or in the heart, it matters not. And I find all of it quite moving.
That's one way to look at it. Aphrodite, of course, had a very key role to play in the Trojan War, so she is accustomed to the whole war thing. Whenever you collect your plasma, you may create a heartthrob. And those heartthrobs deal damage. It doesn't say how much damage, though. We do have a heartthrob from this that does 120. Is it going to give that same amount? And this is a percentage chance, which means that number is getting increased by this. So this duo boon is stronger than it would usually be. So we are definitely taking it. We've never taken it before.
Her foes did not so much as touch her in that bout.
That is true. I think Homer specifically saying that because we didn't take any hits in that mini-boss fight, which is hard to do against this guy sometimes. Okay, so this time it's 3 regardless of where we go, so I don't really think we can predict this. This is just completely random. Cross our fingers that we get what we like. But actually, how does it... Yeah, I guess each individual reward... Technically, although this is 1 room, this counts as 3 encounters. When it comes to how quickly that will evolve. So, I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. We'll go here, I guess. But it is actually kind of nice on this floor how we can sort of circumvent the downside if we find the tree
Flourish.
to inform us of what we just got ourselves into. Hermes, a palm, and there should be 1 more major upgrade in here. Oh, magic. Okay, I like the Hermes. Palm's okay. The magic is bad by most accounts, so there's a decent chance that the other room would have been better. But, oh well. Nothing we could have done. It was just a 50-50. Alright, so what we want to do, though, is we want to get rid of the little stuff first. Because if we are to see Echo... Oh, and look, we have 3 heartthrobs now. They do have a duration, but still. That's pretty cool. Okay, so we want to get the little rewards, maybe even the health, even though we don't need it right now. Because if we do have Echo, she has the chance that she might duplicate our most recent rewards. We don't want it to be the magic either. I guess we'll start with this, see if we happen to take damage, because we probably will, given which enemy this is. You also, oops, you can summon this enemy as your minion from this hex, and it is incredible. And I have had it once before in the most significant encounter in the game, and it was almost enough to help me win on our most difficult run we had ever done, but we fell just short because, I alluded to this once before, because there were other ads that I needed to get rid of, but I didn't want to kill, because I didn't want to reset and replace that as our minion that we were going to summon with someone who was much weaker. So, it was just one of those darned if you do, darned if you don't type of situations, and it didn't end up working out for us, unfortunately, but...
Here, little fish.
Let's get the fish.
Come on out.
There we are. Oh, it's Anguish. Lovely.
Felt that.
Why did that say plus 30? Oh, it said plus 36 because we've, not this one, but there is an Aphrodite boon here. It's giving us more max life and more max magic than we would usually have. I'm gonna get rid of you just because you're a little bit annoying. And also, you are a means by which to farm up a little more plasma. I think this area, as we nab that, little bit of gold, and this, I think this area does not reset your plasma bonus with each individual encounter. It does sort of lump them all together, although we can obviously double check that soon. We did not end up taking any damage, so we actually don't need the health right now, but as I said, we very much do not want the health to be the last thing we pick up in this area. But maybe by picking a fight with some of these guys, we might get hit, which is almost a good thing, in a way, to avoid us accidentally making that mistake.
See anything good lately?
I don't even think it lets us pick that up if we are not at full health. Ooh. I can't remember if mini shop rewards could also affect Echo. There's a chance they do, in which case that could be a bit of a trap. Oh, I missed. Oopsie. Kind of forgot about the cast, to be honest with you. Now I've been so focused on the key combo, because now it's workable. Okay, well, we're definitely going to do this. We're going to leave the Hermes for last as the thing that we would ideally get duplicated. Okay, yeah, I was going to say, I didn't really make a point of noticing who I had killed most recently. And if I were more mindful, I might have been able to see if we still had that big mini-boss enemy who now shows up as a normal enemy on this floor. Okay. We can upgrade the special. Wouldn't be a bad thing. Upgrade the rate at which the plasma drops, which would be kind of nice. C-Star. It is 8% improvement. It is nice. But I just wonder if maybe at this stage there isn't that much time to benefit from that extra percentage chance, so we got the base form early enough to be useful, but incremental upgrades at this point might not do that much for us. I feel like it is this.
One more.
Oh, and it could be more, courtesy of the C-Star. Okay, now granted, if we had gone C-Star to C-Star, we could have made it... we could have potentially turned this into an infinite loop, which would be incredible. And now I am a little tempted to try that, but I am still going to go with this.
One remains.
Okay, so that actually turned out to be quite nice. Now it's a 29% chance of plasma. Thanks, Poseidon, for giving me another copy of the thing that I didn't need. That I picked up just so that I didn't accidentally pick it up later on. Probably could have just completely ignored that guy altogether, to be honest with you, although it's more plasma. Okay, so we're doing this. If Echo does appear in the next room, we are trying to have this be the thing that gets duplicated. There's a chance that the mini shop would intrigue us, but I'm gonna try to avoid that and resist that temptation. Okay, summon you, and then I'm gonna, try to dodge out of that just in time, but I did not. Did I just get hit by something else as well? I saw blocks remaining there when it seemed as though I was not getting hit by anything.
Olympus, I accept this message.
Okay, let's see. Quick Buck, that is one of the ones that I do like to see very early on in a run. Travel Deal is another one that's very good early on in a run. It's another way to get multiple copies of things to appear. Well, in this case, you do have to purchase the second one. We saw it in the previous run. It doesn't come for free, unlike that Poseidon boon. But if you can combine these, that's very good. Also looking a little bit at this stage at how many boons we have of each element, because we actually have more water than anything. I think Aphrodite's infusion is air, despite how many of the boons we've gotten from her have been water. So it might be a little tough for us to benefit from. Surely Poseidon's infusion is water, right? So I don't remember what that is. Maybe Poseidon could benefit us later on from that, but the earth stuff, that is what Ares infusion is based on. Is that reason enough to go this route? Probably not, although you could make the case both of these are too little too late. I think maybe we do still go for this, though.
Adequate.
Especially if we do get an extra copy of it from Poseidon. Now we have a lot of monies. Okay, and that only has one reward. That could be Echo. It could be a shop. I don't think that's the penultimate room. I'm going to check this, but we may want to avoid it, because there's a chance that this is what we would get a copy of from Echo. Yarn of Ariadne wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to get an extra copy of. I feel like I have tried that once before, though, and they don't stack. They just kind of get... the second one gets wasted, I think. So I think although would usually like to purchase this, on this occasion I'm going to attempt to pass. Is it Echo? I think it is.
Don't
it is.
Despair, Echo.
Okay, I feel like there's, usually music in here. That's why I was so taken aback. I was like, waiting for something to happen here, and obviously didn't see any enemies in the beginning either. But okay, so I think we made the right decision in that case, although of course we don't know if we're going to even get that option from Echo to get a copy of our latest reward.
Echo, don't you despair. Echo, don't you despair.
Oh? Let's see. After your next purchase from Charon, gain another at no extra charge. In most cases, we could get a bazillion copies of stuff from the shop. Otherwise, gain max life, max magic, but those go away over time, or choose one of 3 boons from the previous night. What types of boons did we have last time? I should remember this, but I don't. Presumably there are some that would be very helpful to us, but don't know how well they fit. Well, we were using the staff, right? Using the staff with the leash. We had a long time in which we had very few boons. So actually, I'm not sure what we would get from that. I feel like we're just going with gold, gold, gold in this case. In all likelihood? Well, wait. Get an extra... You could look at it this way. Getting an extra copy of something from a Charon shop means, in all likelihood, every once in a while you might see a hammer there, in which case that gives you 200 gold worth of value. But otherwise, at best, it's 150 from a particular boon. But in this case, you know you are getting a boon. So that's a little bit lower risk in a way. You know, maybe it is boon, boon, boon.
Please take care. Take care.
Air quality. Okay, that is the aforementioned Aphrodite air boon. Oh, yeah. Makes us do a minimum of 50 damage, which I don't think is that big of a concern for us anymore now that we have the huge damage multipliers here. I think we're passing on that. Foes in your cast may take critical damage from our attacks. At the moment, the cast has sort of become the odd skill out. It's been the combination of charge, special, and attack to set this up, although it does have a lot of potential. This wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. This is also an earth boon, so if we're trying to get to the infusion, at least become eligible for the infusion for Ares, then that would be a good way to do it. Get closer. But it would be really helpful if we knew if Ares was in one of these rooms. And we don't. So it's a little hard to know if that is going to be in the cards or not. Oh.
So what?
Oh, that's Nemesis. That's Selene.
Flourish and reveal my path.
Oh, and it even shows where Nemesis is. Okay, there is a hammer. So I do like that a lot. It's a mini magic upgrade, and that's not going to do much for us. The Selene stuff could be quite useful. So we know we actually have duo potential for that. And in fact, although we have taken the Moonbeam, as we get hit by one of those smoke clouds as we're on the pause-ish menu, we took the Moonbeam, but we didn't actually have the chance to cash it in yet, I don't think. So Selene is a big deal, and we can go in whatever order we want at this point, because now the echo effect is no longer a concern. So I don't know what Nemesis is up to over there. Feel like maybe we do all the other stuff before Nemesis, so we are stronger
I can do this.
in preparation for the encounter with her, in case we are competing against her. But if she's about to jump in here and potentially steal our hammer, then I'm not pleased about that. So, starting with this. You look nasty. That's because you are. That's a bunch of armored enemies. Wow.
Out of my sight.
Oh. Was that our cast that took them all out? Because I didn't really notice. I was not over there. Didn't seem to be actively attacking at the time when they went down. Okay, but this could be big. Your Valkyrie form lasts for 3 additional seconds, and that is the machine gun form. We only get the rapid fire machine gun form for, what is it usually? 3 seconds after using the charge special. So that means that this obviously is specific to this particular aspect. Again, that's why it has a different colored icon. But it doubles the duration of the machine gun effect, which is pretty tempting. Otherwise, specials have more power and we take less damage while using them. It's nice. I mean, taking less damage while using them honestly might be more impactful just because of the number of times I've been hit while charging it up. Making them faster would also help in that regard, but I mean, we have to try this, right?
Should be one left.
Okay, so now I think we're just saving Nemesis for the end here, assuming that it's going to be some other type of encounter that we're going to compete against her in. gonna do this. Okay, that's probably not the enemy who we would have ideally have had. Probably would prefer to have a 1,000 Punch Man. Ooh, hold on. This. Oh, never mind. And now we would summon one of those weak dudes. I guess I didn't fully charge up that charge special. We are also plasmaing up in anticipation of Nemesis, which I admittedly have not really been looking to see if that number has been resetting every time we technically start a new one of these encounters.
The possibilities.
Okay, so yes, we are now actually getting the value from the Moonbeam keepsake that we had on the previous floor, and remember, we have the Duo Boon from Hera. So, I think the way this is organized, the tree is a little bit different this time around, so let's see. We presumably will want to take this, makes our servant faster, and have a decent crit chance. Use it one more time in boss encounters. We probably want to do that, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then we'd have 4 left. Which means 1, 2, 3, 4. If we skip the God Sent one, we can get to one of these guys. The extra God Sent one, at least. Because remember, you can only use the super duo version 1 time per encounter, unless you get this. What does this do? Raise servants move and attack faster. That's a really big deal. 75% is a huge difference maker. And lasting indefinitely, both of those are really good. Whereas this, it takes some of the damage that we would have otherwise taken. So yeah, these are, I think, all the ones that we saw in the previous run when we had this Hex. They do, sometimes the blue ones, at least, I think, do alternate out. Like, you get 2 options. There may be 3 or 4 total that can possibly show up. So, oh, and there's this here, your casts. Oh, yes, okay. I mean, it helps sometimes if your minion gets caught somewhere. Gets kind of stuck. Okay. The charge up on this Hex is not as big of a deal. It's more a matter of defeating an enemy so that you're even eligible to do it. So I think I do really like that one. I think I'm going to prioritize, even though I don't love that, I'm going to prioritize going in this direction so we can... Oh wait, actually, hold on. If we do this, we might still be able to get to one of these guys, because we get to double dip a little bit on the pathing with this first one. Deals more damage, we get that, we get that. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can still get the God Sent. Okay, the extra God Sent. Let's do it. More damage after we use it. Servants do more damage after we use it. Servants last indefinitely rather than expire after 12 seconds, and then we can use it one more time with the super version, at least if we're in boss fights. And then in the future, with 2 more points, we could have them tank some of the damage for us. At this stage, it would be late enough in the run, it's hard to get over here to make it 75% faster, but if we could, that'd be awesome. And that would certainly help. Alright, well, thank you, Poseidon. That is, well-timed. Alright, so in that case, maybe we take what we know we're gonna have enough to get, and go claim this one. Does more damage, takes some of the damage for us, and then we're gonna want to go over to this side, have it start dealing a little more damage, or we do more damage after it's been used. Either one, I think, would be fine. Okay, let's go there.
Again.
Alright, what's your deal, Nemesis? Technically, we could summon our minion right now if we really wanted to.
You following me or something?
No, I think you're following me.
Running into you this many times per night. Find your own path.
Wait, I forget. Did we see her already? Earlier on this run? Oh, we did, didn't we?
Find my own path? You mean besides the one our headmistress and master tactician endlessly toiled to refine to maximize my chances of success?
Yeah, our chance of success, not yours.
Just stay out of my way. But first, how about you let me take a good, clean swing at you, since you've been mouthing off.
Huh? Oh. Invite Nemesis to take her best shot. She will deal 20 damage. In return, we get a Mega Palm of Power. It gives us 2 extra levels. Yeah, I'm taking that deal. This is this is devious. On a controller, B decline, X accept. The X button is on the left. The B button is on the right. So they are flip-flopped. If you're looking at where they appear on the screen and which button you have to press to choose that, that is... that's not good. I can imagine they didn't really think of that. But, yeah, that's okay. Let me just make sure that I'm pressing the correct button. Accept.
Smile. Enjoy.
Worth it. We will enjoy, because with that we can get even more of the plasma dropping, or we can get even more... Oh man, if we had upgraded this from the other palms... I mean, at this point I honestly feel like I kind of have to.
Could get going now.
Because that's just such a high percentage chance. Okay, well, we have only one choice here. And I think this is going to be the penultimate room. Which means this is not going to count as an encounter. Which means this Chaos Boon is not going to have evolved by the time we get into the final... I guess the Cerberus fight will be an encounter. So yeah, it's going to evolve early on in Tartarus, I think, assuming we make it through. We get to heal off some of the damage just by walking in here. And yeah, this is the penultimate room, as we anticipated that it might be. And it is a shop. Okay. I think that is what we wanted to see. And we want to see Ares as well. So I do like that. Did we have something that gave us a bonus with the first thing that we picked up at a shop? I know there's a Hermes boon for that, and we opted not to take it. I think we took the just straightforward extra gold instead. I think the order does not necessarily matter here in terms of rewards. However, the Palm Slice is slightly more likely to hit on the boons that we currently have if we take this first. Which I think we do want, because that means our special got upgraded. Okay. Probably would have preferred the attack. That's okay. Might have been next best. Oh.
Which I would pay the boatman's fare myself. So many souls did I send down at once into the underworld. Those were good times.
Yeah, Ares has probably helped send a lot of people into the underworld. You're not wrong. Okay. Let's see. Charge moves cause a falling blade to appear over each foe struck, but use more magic. I think that's not a terrible idea, as it gives us extra damage on our charge special, which we are using a lot. It is an Earth boon, at which point I think if he does ever decide to give us access to that infusion, we would be eligible for it. I can't remember if it's one where you just need 6 and then it activates, or if it gives you more value based on the number of Earth boons that you have. But all these are Earth, so that's not really a deciding factor, but I think this does work well with what we're doing. Gain a chance to deal 200% damage that increases the less life we have remaining. I have seen this before, and it works especially well when you have high health, because it's not based on how much percentage health you've lost, it's based on how many points of health you have lost. So that number looks really small, but obviously the more health we've lost, it can eventually get up to be still quite small number, but the bonus is ginormous, of course, 200% damage, so it's not like you're supposed to be hitting that all the time. So it's not horrible. I do wish that it was higher rarity, in which case I think it'd be very strong, especially when you consider that we have this, which is doubling, or not doubling, but it's 50% increase value on this. Otherwise, we get you. I mean, I think you are basically a better version of this, at least for our build right now. If we get a higher rarity version of this, I think we'll take it, but stick with this for now. Okay, then this is Cerberus, and it's not just normal Cerberus. Remember, this is Super Cerberus, the rival Cerberus fight. Technically, we've already made it to the threshold we need to reach to get the bonus Nightmare drop, but if we want to proceed, then we do still need to make it through this fight, and this one will be more challenging,
Until we meet again.
as you will quickly see from this.
Due for another cleaning then?
I don't have a ton of experience with this fight, I'm going to be honest with you. I've only fought him in this form 2 or 3 times. This does seem like a good opportunity. Hello. To farm up a ton of the plasma. The problem is this arena is a lot smaller than you think it is. You can't really run away from... Oh, this is devious, giving you this ally. That ally is horrible for us. Okay, fortunately we did get rid of it. And it does mean that we should be able to... Or did he despawn? Technically we didn't kill him. Okay, to be honest with you, taking the damage over time from the fire might have been better than getting hit by that attack. But that's kind of what I'm getting at, is I don't really know positionally where the best places are to be in this fight. I walked into the smoke and then I walked into it again, and we're going to take so much damage from this. So, this is obviously, as you can now see, the most difficult fight that we had left. Oh, that's horrible. Now we can summon him, and he is stronger. Finally have the chance to do that. I've never summoned that type of enemy before, so I don't know how useful he's going to be. He has a bazillion immunities. Those lives mean that he takes no damage from a hit that number of times, which I imagine is because... Oh dear. I imagine is because he had a bunch of ads that we did not kill. That's my guess as to why that happened. He's doing the fire breath. Hold on, this is a great window to do this. And then probably resummon. I don't know if we really needed to resummon that, to be honest with you. Oh, don't stand there. Or there. We're about to use a Death Defiance. That's okay. We have not used any yet. And what with this being the last of the rival fights we have on this run, I think that is probably to be expected that we were going to have to use some at some point. Ooh. Okay, now we are out of... Oh, he's about to do Fire Breath or something. We are out of the super hexes. So we don't want to be... Ooh, don't want to be resummoning that at this stage. Oh, that was... I walked straight into that. That was bad. So that's a Death Defiance. We've yet to use any, had yet to use any as of the full release. So if anyone is new to Hades 2, that's what it looks like. We ran out of life, but we have what is basically a respawn of sorts. Oh, see, like, where do I stand? So this fight, I just feel like I need a lot more practice with. I don't know how challenging it really is versus me just being very unaccustomed to it. Okay, but there we go. We've defeated the Super Cerberus.
The ever-burning Hound of Hell has finally cooled off for the time being.
So he has cooled off.
You're looking better already.
He's looking better already. And we used a Death Defiance. However, we're actually going to get a Death Defiance back. We just used the Death Defiance that came from that Chaos Boon. So, alright, there you go. We got one from the Chaos encounter, and we spent it in this encounter. So we're basically where we were Death Defiance-wise earlier on. And now, when it comes to our fear, we have, at this point, all of the fear that we got came from these rival fights. And now that we've gone through all of the rival fights that we've activated, that means there's no more fear effects on this run. So it's basically, from here on out, as if we are doing a standard run. Which is kind of the nice thing about those fear fights, if that is the primary way you are increasing the fear on your runs, especially if you only activate one or two of them. Basically, once you get past that 1, 2, or in this case 3 bosses, then you have it easy, sort of. Okay, that's a big boost of health. Oh, is that because we are still getting the extra value from that? Oh, that's nifty. We technically got it twice. Just from picking this up before we clicked on the well on the previous floor. Okay, so now Speaking of Death Defiances, we could get another one by going with the Luckier Tooth here, but we've been starting to use the Knuckle Bones a little bit more as an alternative. It's not yet maxed out, but if we are to take it here, then we might be able to make that happen, so kind of feel like that might be interesting for that reason, just to set ourselves up a little bit more for future success. Again, I feel like there is a math equation you can run, do some algebra to figure out under what circumstances is the Luckier Tooth more valuable than the Knuckle Bones and vice versa. But I think it's okay for us to stick with that this time. And then now we are not quite at full health. We would benefit a bit. It is overkill to take this, but wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. It only costs 31-ish gold. Yeah, you know what? We'll take it, just to play it a little bit safe. Could sell boons. I don't think we want to, though. Actually, that would be kind of interesting to sell this one at this stage, because we've, for the most part, gotten the value from it already. And I mean, especially if we had somehow the option to sell this right before the final boss fight. Like, okay, we've gone through everything that could have possibly happened multiple times, and oh no, but it does give us some combat benefits as well, so I take it back, because it does improve our chances of getting the plasmas to drop. So, we'll keep it.
Not much farther now.
Okay. I don't think anything special here, and now, because the Chaos Boon has evolved, that means, fortunately, we can see all of the rewards for these rooms here. Granted, this one, the first room never has anything, so if it were one room longer, it wouldn't really have hurt us. Okay. But obviously, this area can be a little bit dangerous.
Finished with you.
Oh, and I kind of forgot. We do have that, Aphrodite, or not Aphrodite, the Artemis boon that gives us the chance to crit enemies if they are in our cast. Kind of expected I was going to forget about, because we are focusing so much on the attack and special. Okay. I think we might have used a block there, unfortunately. Oh, okay. We can get an early Hades, and I thought... Oh no, you looked like someone who was going to be compellable, but you are not compellable.
It's me.
Hello. Oh, hold on, before I forget.
Poppy flower seeds.
Back already.
Indeed.
The darkness stirs in such a way as I've not felt since very long ago.
Oh?
This cannot be the Titan's work. It must be that of the Witch of the Crossroads, if not you.
Oh? Does that mean we're making progress, maybe?
Father, in shadow I serve, to shadow I return. Thus have I sworn the oath of the unseen who serve this realm and execute the will of night.
Oh, he's referring to the extra fear that we've activated. Okay.
I know less of the unseen than you suppose. As it should be, lest the Titan could have learned much more. Then may you serve the will of night judiciously.
Okay. Let's see. Deal more damage based on the number of times we used Death Defiances this night. We have used one already, so that's an 8% damage bonus across the board. And if we use more, then that number does go up. In your confrontation with Kronos, he takes a burst of damage that reduces his health by 20% after the first 3 seconds. Technically, if you combine that with the Knuckle Bones, that's also doing 10% damage at the beginning. So he's starting with 30% of his life removed, or more or less starting with it, which is pretty nice. Otherwise, our Dash Strike, it hits surrounding foes with a punishing sweep that inflicts scorn. Does 40 damage, and it makes afflicted foes take 30% increased attack and special damage for 10 seconds. I think that's pretty good. Because attack and special, those are the things that we are building around, and we're using them. We're dashing regularly enough. I don't think we need to worry too much about setting up with this. It's just going to happen, unlike the cast where, okay, kind of have to make more of a conscious effort to do it. And then we're going to be, we similarly do not really need to worry about making a point of using special and attack. We're going to benefit from that damage bonus, because those are the things we're going to use anyway.
Cerberus, take care of him, okay?
Cerberus?
The savage watchdog looks tentatively at the princess of the underworld.
Oh? Might you let me
Some other time?
pet you? Not this
I
time.
said.
Oh, okay. Have it your way then. No reward for this room. We don't have a basic dash boon, so it's just that sweep that we just got. Oh, that was horrible blocking. The fact that we had to use one there was horrible. One more, pick up a little bit of plasma. Yeah, it's just getting greedy and not really approaching these guys the right way. I have no idea who we killed most recently. Would have liked one of those shield dudes, but now obviously it's going to be one of these guys. But encounter's over, so that does not matter much. Okay, well, potentially 3 chambers, or we can voluntarily take on a mini-boss to get a high-rarity Aphrodite boon. We do have the big one that we were looking for, and then did we also take... The other one I tend to like is this. Yeah, okay, we've already taken this as well. So those were the big ones. Obviously, if we are to get another duo or legendary boon, then that could be quite useful as well, but I think we give it a shot here. See which mini-boss we get. It is Super Ratman. Ooh, that's a lot of projectiles. Summon the rats against Super Ratman. Give you a taste of your own medicine. There's the machine gun for you. Oh no, his little rat got me. There we are.
Remember that.
Remember that, Ratman. Taste the wrath of my rats. Okay. I guess we don't need to pick up the plasma. This.
In the name of Hades.
So we used a block, but we didn't take any damage. So hopefully that still pays off for us. Gain dodge chance for each of the air boons we have. So it'd be 6% dodge chance. It's small enough number that it's a little hard to get excited about it. We do technically have 6% dodge chance already from Golly, so it'd be 12% total. Okay, that is something at that point. And you might be saying, oh, but Lids, you're getting this that doubles the probability of things happening. Not dodge, though, unfortunately. If that were the case, then obviously it'd be a lot better. But otherwise, we could get a dash boon that applies weak, which is a very useful status to have on bosses in particular. Otherwise, I'm not a huge fan of this. We do have one reroll left. I'm considering using it, because obviously there's not much time left to use it. This does have a higher rarity for all the boons here, because this was a mini-boss, so, you know, I think we do it. Let's see what we get. Can exchange the cast. I don't think we want that. Okay, well, alright. We tried the reroll, it basically gave us the same things. So, oh well, we gave it a shot. So defense, technically this is also more or less defense. You know, maybe we'll go for this.
Now.
And I did see this guy, who is compellable.
It'll be alright.
Okay, this one's gonna be fast. Because there are a bunch of them. There we go.
See you in the crossroads.
See you in the crossroads. Ooh. Okay, this time not even a mini-boss, we just get a super palm. Obviously we're gonna have to fight our way through, but I think we're okay with that. Okay, let's get rid of the Ratman. Then let's summon the Ratman. Hold on. Now we summon the Ratman. Ooh, hold on. He brought... The other Ratman created rats. Imagine that. Go away, Ratman. Probably should be doing the actual combo. And also not standing there. There we go. Alright. No damage taken, so basically just a little bit of extra gold and, of course, the Super Palm. Oh man. I mean, we have to, right? I know it's so late in the run that we have so few chances for this to proc, but we have to, right? 90% is insane. And we haven't seen it happen multiple times in a row. I don't remember if that is possible for it to actually chain numerous times, but at 90%, that would actually be very likely. And I suppose it basically just bought that for us. Oh, we have to do this. We get another one? No? Okay, it might be limited to just one extra copy, but either way, I mean, that certainly is funny, and we still got possibly the most useful boon for us to have upgraded anyway. And this would be one of those encounters, optional encounters, that would give us a reward. We can only activate it if we have a high fear value, and as you see, we have 8 fear, which is somewhat high, but that is not enough, so these do have... I think they're usually in and around this number, in the teens, or low double digits. So, not enough. That's okay, we can go in here, and I think it is possible to get double Selene from that Poseidon boon that now has a 90% chance to proc. So let's give it a shot here. Oop, don't stand there. Oh, that was a bad place to stand. I did get hit. It's a lot of projectiles. Yeah, this room is very crowded. I have no idea who I've taken out most recently. Not sure who I would want it to be, because there are a lot of projectile enemies which are a pain in the butt to face off against. They tend not to do very well as an ally, because they tend to miss a whole bunch. I was really hoping to hit you there before you started launching all of those projectiles, as I was saying. No, don't do that. Okay. So is this just going to be one Selene, or is this going to give us the double? Let's see. Well, it's 5 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we can get over here. The faster attacks, which is a very big deal for getting extra damage. Charges up more quickly. I mean, that's not a huge deal. More damage there. Now we still have 1 more point to spare. So it's just going to be one of these minor nodes. We do 5% more damage, 5% more damage, starts up more charged, servant deals more damage. So all pretty similar. This is definitely the least valuable. I guess we'll go for more damage ourselves. And there we go. We do get the extra round, and at this point we will be able to get absolutely everything with several points to spare. There we go. And we can get bonus gold. So remember, of course, we are approaching the final shop of the run, which will give us a super shop, which you can usually spend a ton of money on. Last time we had a crazy amount of gold. We actually still had something like 2,000 gold remaining at the end. That's pretty unusual, but we very likely would not be able to afford everything at this shop, at least not yet. So maybe we can change that. Please don't do... Oh, I got green. Just needed to poke him ever so slightly, and then he would have gone down. I messed up the timing. I'm pretty sure I could have just continued holding the machine gun button. There we go. So it's 390 gold. And another 390 gold. It does not appear as though it can give us multiple rounds of bonus rewards. Otherwise, at this point, we very likely would have seen that happen at least once. But it's almost guaranteed to give us that second reward. And this one, we must actually progress toward the boss fight. We did take a little bit of damage in either that room or the room before. We're not at max health right now. Oh yeah, because I took that hit I was talking about. Wouldn't necessarily be opposed to summoning a dude. Oh no, I have to... right. Doesn't carry over from one encounter to the next. I do need to kill someone in this room before I can do this. Ooh, excuse me. Thank you, minion. Okay. Alright, and this one doesn't have an end reward. I'm kind of doubtful that we will see any more of those since we've already done a lot of those optional rooms. I'm guessing it's going to be a lot more of these guys, just progress, but nothing else. Summon the Ratman. So yeah, if we kill an enemy, we are just about guaranteed to have enough of our Hex charged up to immediately summon them. It's the killing the initial enemy part is potentially the barrier. Ooh. Nope, don't do that. Are they slowing down? I'm not sure that they are. I don't think so. Okay. Knuckle Bones have now ranked up, which now means rather than it was originally, or I think it's originally 5% damage to Guardian, we had it on rank 2, that was 10%, now it's 15% damage to Guardians at the start of the encounter. It stays a flat, you take 10% less damage, regardless of what rank it is.
Reagent over there.
Do this. Was there something else I was pointing out? No, I guess not. Okay. So now, in what is likely to be the last room before the boss fight.
Let's begin.
Not a huge fan of using those guys as the ones that we summon, although we may not have many choices here. We will eventually, though.
Family grows and grows.
Okay, yes, I did get better ones. Excuse me. Here we are. No reward in this area, but is there a crafting resource of any variety? Doesn't appear so. Okay, so now this is the super shop, and with 2,000, almost 2,400 gold, we should be able to buy most of the things, but possibly not everything. Okay, let's see. We can buy a Charon card, which would probably give us a Charon card just for the amount of gold it would cost in total. So it's a bit of a double Charon card in that way. But let's see, that's 1,500, 1,250. Yeah, we can afford everything and then some. Okay, so no worries there. Does the sequencing matter? Potentially, ever so slightly. With the palm, at least. That could dictate what is eligible to be palmified. I think we're looking for this. This is theoretically high rarity. Ares boon. We'd love the infusion, or maybe even legendary Ares boon could be really good as well. So I guess we'll still go for this first.
This one, please.
And I think it is possible to get this to show up multiple times with the Poseidon boon. It's 10% extra attack damage, or 3% extra chance for these to drop. And bear in mind, obviously 10% versus 3%, you might look at that and say, oh, well, obviously 10% is better. But this can proc many, many times over the course of a long fight like the one with Kronos. So this can amounts to a whole lot more than just 3% extra plasmas. But maybe we will still go with this.
Set.
Okay. Oh, you might not be able to get bonus copies of things you buy from a shop. I don't know. Definitely not boons. We'll check this one out. That's a Charon card. And it's a duo. Whenever you exit a location, keep some of your plasma bonuses. It's a little late for that. It's a little late for that there, Ares. After you take damage or a foe is slain, they spill plasma. Oh, sometimes twice. I didn't remember seeing that before. The probability is way up there. The problem is that in this case, well, alright. There aren't that many enemies we're going to defeat in this fight besides Kronos himself. He will summon ads. Especially in the second phase, there are times when he summons a whole bunch of the Hourglass enemies. But is that really enough for that to be meaningful? If we take damage, that's more likely going to be the way that these proc. And with a 52% chance, that's, or is that the chance for double drops? Ooh. Okay, maybe that is good enough to go for. If we had a reroll still remaining, obviously this would be the time to use it, but we did. We did use that previously. Otherwise, we saw this previously as well, and it is potentially pretty solid, because the probability is getting doubled. But I think it's one of these two. I guess we'll do this. Either one could be good. We can afford this. We get this. And we can get this. And that, okay. That little bit there was what we needed to get to the next Charon card threshold. So we got several from this run in that case.
May moonlight guide you.
Thank you, Charon. Pretty decent stuff in this super shop. You never quite know what you're going to get. You know, there's usually one very expensive crafting resource. Would we have preferred to have seen something like Nightmare, because we probably could have afforded that? Yeah, maybe. But Charon card still is of some use to us. Okay, so, going into this fight, we do have the super powerful Hex, which took a little while for us to get that online, but that is quite good, and yes, this was the encounter against Kronos, where I had that experience I was referring to before, where I had a really powerful minion who I didn't want to replace, so I opted not to attack his hourglasses in the second phase, and they heal him if you leave them there. So basically, I would have dealt enough damage to kill him had I not allowed all those things to heal him. However, if I had killed those hourglasses, then I would have lost my minion and had to have gotten one of those hourglasses myself. They don't do any damage, I don't think. They only heal you, and they do it at a much slower rate than they heal Kronos. So it was a tricky situation, and I say that because, well, we could find ourselves in a similar situation here. So, gonna have to make up our mind. I think, in hindsight, destroying those hourglass enemies was probably necessary, so if it comes to that, we'll go that route. We do have a lot of damage coming from this combo here, the Charge Special, then using Aspect of Hell with the Flutter Strike, huge damage, and the Hammer upgrade or two that is helping us out to sustain that for even longer, wherever that is. This. And then all the plasmas. I think the plural of plasma is plasma, but you know what I mean. Giving us potentially a whole bunch of extra speed in this encounter, which helps both offensively and defensively. It's movement speed and attack speed. And special speed. And remember, this is not a rival Kronos fight. This is a standard Kronos fight.
I'm home.
Oh, not again. You are quite dangerous, I must admit.
Oh,
you have
a compliment?
repeatedly breached into Tartarus and this house. Impossibilities, if not for your tainted bloodline. And you are able to withstand my conjuring. Might I again politely ask you how?
Don't say that. Don't answer that question.
You call that politely? You didn't even say the magic word. But since you really want to know, I'm from the future. You'll later come to realize the error of your ways and teach me to stop you before you can cause more harm.
Wait. What? Are we from the future, or is he more so from the past? I don't know. He's the Titan of Time. It gets confusing as soon as you start introducing time travel stuff, because we sort of knew that was a little bit in play once we started speaking with Zagreus in the next room over, where we were saying, oh, he's from the past, we're sort of from the future, we're from different times, but somehow you're going to have to do something to defeat Kronos in your time period, or at least prevent him from rising to power in the first place. But until that point, it wasn't really clear that there was going to be anything that was directly time-related, or that we were messing with time travel ourselves. Obviously, we might have suspected Kronos himself of doing stuff like that, but that just comes with the territory of him being the Titan of Time.
Oh, quite an imaginative tale.
Or did we just lie?
A comedy, for the utterly outrageous premise beggars belief. My girl, one cannot travel back in time. Time marches ever forward, and I alone determine at which rate.
That's interesting. I wonder if that's an accurate description, or if he's also messing with us a bit here. Because if he can't time travel, then how are we communicating with Zagreus? Or maybe it's not a matter of us being in the future / present and Zagreus is in the past. Who knows? Time travel's confusing, man. So let's do that. And then do this, especially while he's in this phase. We can get a ton of damage. Excuse me. I'll summon one of them. I don't think these guys are fantastic minions anyway. Oop, that was a bad place to be standing. One moment while I pick up a whole bunch of these, though. So we're already at 13 plasmas. like that a little bit more. So in some ways, we can deliberately... Oh, did our minion just cause him to phase? Is he at half health? He might be. He might be able to double attack now. Not entirely sure. Because he's close to half health. If we use our Hex now, do we summon one of these totems? Oh, that's a horrible place to stand as well. That's usually his easiest attack to got. 1, 2... Okay, yes. He's at half health. It's clear that. Less than half health now. No, hold on. Hold on. I'd like to attack you during this phase. Didn't really get in position as quickly as I would have liked, but there you see just how much damage that can do when we time it correctly. Oh, I would love to get that Rat Man as our new minion. Because he's annoying. I would like him on my team instead of your team. Oh, but now he summoned all the rats. I don't want to get the little rats, except they give us even more plasma. We're at 27%. Wait, leave the Rat Man alive. We can farm him. Okay, except now I am going to summon him. What happened to our Rat Man? No, we got a little rat. No. It's a tragedy. I think we'll be okay. Because this combo still demolishes him. I want those plasmas. Give me the plasma.
3, 2,
it goes away. It does help us in this phase. Be a little bit quicker. We might wait to Hex until he gives us a better minion to work with. That's a bad place to stand. This is also the one that I don't understand. I think I cut that extremely close. I think you are supposed to be in that area. But what did he hit me with? I don't recognize this. That's usually where he does. Yep, this looks like he's charging up something stronger than it actually is. It's more just like a bullet hell phase. One. These. Stand here. Oh, oops. Wrong order. Okay, that was close. So that freezes you if you're standing in there. I think I do want to be in here. I think that's what we established. No, we do not want to stand in here. That's what I don't get. So that's a Death Defiance. Because seemingly we did not take an entire death worth of damage by standing in there previously. The first time he did that attack, but then we did the second time. So is it like his absolute inner circle is dangerous, but sort of in the middle is safe? I don't know, man. I don't get that. I don't understand it. Okay, so this is where I think he might start summoning these guys, who are the ones that I was hesitant to destroy in the past. Ooh, and they are still healing him. That's unfortunate. Okay, we'll do this. Sure, we'll get one for ourselves. Okay, he's being very annoying with the various things that he is doing. I kind of just had to sit there and tank that. And now we have 77% speed from all the plasmas. So you can see, especially with our lightning fast machine gun style, we can get absolutely absurd damage from this. Because it benefits so much from the speed. And so now I'm kind of deliberately just farming it up the speed. There we go. Would be around 100 if we picked up all those ones on the ground now, but Kronos is down.
Nothing from the past. Recklessly changed everything to suit your whim.
And that is not the highest we've ever gotten from that. You can check out some of our previous runs if you are interested in seeing just how high that number can go. Although we were not using this aspect when we had that crazy number for our plasma speed, and I think therefore this one might have actually been more effective, even though it might have had like half, if not even less than that, of the amount of plasma we had on that prior occasion.
You're the one who's learned nothing, despite all the time you've had to think on it.
Ouch.
Oh, on the contrary, I know change is inevitable with time. The only question is, which sort?
Okay. Well, down you go.
Cannot be stopped.
Or can it? Alright, so there we go. swimming in gold. I think that's not the first time we've had one of those. But this run, big part of it was, of course, the combination of the aspect, and as we saw there, the aspect plus the attack with the support of the crazy plasma generation got to be pretty insane. And then we also had a powerful hex that took a little while before it reached its heights, but even then, once it did, it wasn't quite as defining of a feature this time around because we didn't have quite as many opportunities to get a good target for it.
Tucked away.
That was the base Kronos fight, so we had the rivals for all the other bosses. That was where all of our fear was coming from, and we got the nightmare from that, so that was good.
So much for the ravages of time.
Down goes Kronos. Just make sure there's no lore here. I don't think so. And now we proceed. And of course, very intrigued to see what happens here, because this is where we see what steps we can make
All right, brother.
to defeat Kronos on a more permanent basis.
The ancient mirror of night, that conduit of dark primordial power from before time took hold, lies forgotten amid the myriad possessions of the captive underworld prince.
Yeah, because it seems like we're using this dreamlike state to obviously talk with Zagreus, but as I said, there's some... Last time, or maybe the time before that, there was talk of us being in a different time period than Zagreus, but that seemed to directly conflict with what Kronos had just said to us before that boss fight. So is it that Kronos doesn't realize that we have access to this powerful mirror that is actually doing something that Kronos didn't think was possible? Or do we misunderstand how the mirror works?
An ordinary mirror, nothing more.
I guess that's what I'm getting at.
To the abyss of the subconscious I descend.
So I guess I could see how being in the subconscious,
It worked.
in this dreamlike state, that could mess with how time passes.
Night and darkness guide me to my blood beyond the grasp of time.
Beyond the grasp of time. Alright, well here we go. Oh, nope. For a second I thought that was Lord, and that's just some sparkles. Usually we get a little bit of a preview.
Which means... Oh, blast. I never thought... I look just like him then. Only without the beard. Ugh.
Yeah, usually we can hear Zagreus talking to himself like this before we head over there. Hello.
Hi there, Melinoi. My investigation into our grandfather's scheming is underway, though difficult to make good progress without telling anybody what I'm up to. Don't take this the wrong way, but this truly is your only idea.
Yeah, you know, we could probably use a little more strategery.
Yes, I don't think I can stop Kronos here. Even Olympus is stuck trying to keep his forces at bay. And he's far too hateful and hard-headed to stop on his own.
That's for sure.
That's our family for you. Father certainly has no love for Kronos, but he never speaks of him. Do you happen to know what went over between them to have made things this bad?
I don't think we know the specifics other than, you know, the time when the gods all chopped him up to bits and pieces and threw him down at the darkest depths of Tartarus.
You're in a better position to ask our father about that than I am. Kronos was a tyrant, and his children wouldn't have it. The Fates themselves deemed that the gods should rule. But that apparently wasn't enough for him.
So now you want me to soften for you? I mean, for us. I've had mixed experiences vanquishing certain members of our family before, but that wasn't forever. And you've said next to nothing about how you expect me to do it.
That is true.
Look, I have knowledge of an incantation known as Dissolution of Time. It requires several complicated steps I shall explain along the way. If it works, it should unravel him.
So yes, that is the name of the big incantation back at the cauldron in the crossroads that we know costs, I think, 5 of the resource that Kronos drops when we defeat him, and 1 mystery item that we don't yet know about. So that does raise the question, well, we've long asked, in the early access that incantation existed, but instead of giving us the mystery resource, instead it had a question mark next to the number of the crafting resources you get from Kronos, and there was like one other resource that either didn't exist yet or it came from Chaos, and it also had a question mark next to the amount that you needed to complete the recipe. So you could see it, but you didn't actually have the opportunity to use it, because the true end of the game did not yet exist. However, upon the full release, we got a definite number for the number of the Kronos resource. It's 5, but we have that question mark item, which I think it might have definitively said you just need 1 of. So we had long wondered when are we going to get more answers as to the exact number we're going to need. We got that answered from full release. But now, what is this other resource, and where is that going to come from? And it does make you wonder if Zagreus is going to be the key there.
Unravel him. That's a little vague for me, unless Kronos turns out to be a spool of yarn. Can you be more specific?
Unmake him. Destroy his ambitions along with him. Undo all the harm he caused. A threefold family bond is required. You, me, and Kronos.
What?
Then we shall infuse a special weapon with the negation of his very being. I'll get into that later.
Where are we getting this information from? What? How does Melanie know this? She's just suddenly like, oh yeah, no, I know exactly what we need to do. 5 minutes ago, she had no clue how to defeat him, and now suddenly she has all the answers.
Well, great. I think you cleared everything up. Though I'll admit, I don't like having to kill our family members just because Father doesn't know how to get along with them.
So, not gonna lie, that feels like one of the oddest bits of writing that we have seen with the major plot-related things in Hades 2 thus far. Because it just seemed like there's this huge jump, where I would have expected us to have had a conversation with, say, Hecate, who might have given us those answers, but she didn't. Instead, we just came up out of thin air with those all by ourselves. So that feels strange. I wonder if, is there some way in which you might have, if you had gone more slowly, learned that more organically from someone else, so that it would make more sense for Hecate to have, rather Melinoe to have those answers? I don't know, because otherwise that feels very off-putting. Just sort of like a strange oversight.
You would blame Father in all this. Blast. Kronos is starting to revive. I have to go. Keep searching for any sign of him. And remember, this is for all of us.
I will, and I understand, I think. We didn't ask to be born into this, but it's what we got. We'll handle it as best we can.
That's right. Thank you, brother. Take care of yourself. And be kind to Mother, Father, Cerberus, and all for me. From mists of memory, return to Shadow now.
Okay, so still questions, but a surprising amount of answers.
From out of the abyss.
At the end of that run. The questions are mostly, where did those answers come from? We had a brief conversation with Hecate before at the end of our previous run, where she had alluded to some of the important incantations, but she didn't tell us how those things were going to happen. She just said, oh, I'm going to talk to you more about that later on. So it just feels like the order of conversations may have gotten messed up along the way, and we didn't know what we were supposed to know at this stage, and so we said stuff that we had no prior knowledge of.
Got him again. But we're not finished yet, are we?
Okay. But it's another successful run, and now one that was not the highest heat we've ever done, but a decent bit of heat. That's from Hades 1, Lids. I've definitely said that several times in our early access runs as well, but fear. Pretty high fear, but not our highest ever, but enough to get the extra nightmare. Okay, now we are potentially expecting to get more from Dora about the whole revealing her past thing, and as I said, I think I might have alluded to, I might have said the key things when we were last talking with her without even realizing that that was the case. So, I think we do now know who Dora truly is, or at least we can figure it out. She's probably about to reveal it altogether, but as I was saying at the beginning of this run, I think Dora is her nickname. You might be more familiar with her going by a slightly different name.
That jar I mentioned, filled with all the bad stuff,
I opened it. I wanted to know what was inside. And it went whoosh. I let just about everything out into the world, into our lives.
Yeah, does that sound familiar to you?
What? Why would you have done a thing like that? How did you even come across this jar?
Because maybe this jar was not so much a jar, as much as a box.
It was a wedding gift from the Olympians. Prometheus, who I remember now, interesting guy. He had a hunky brother, and we sort of hit it off.
Oh, what?
So the gods wanted you to have a jar full of terrible things. That seems an odd sort of present to give to... Who even were you?
Yeah, you would think that would mean she was quite important back in the day, and maybe that's because she was not known as Dora. Instead, she was known as...
Just some woman. But there weren't too many of us then, and I don't think the gods liked Prometheus much. So, anyway, the next time any mortal stubs their toe, pays taxes, gets the sweats, anything like that, it's on me.
Oh, she didn't say it, though.
Even if what you say is true, you make it sound as though you'd no intention to do it. So it's not your fault.
And we did hear from Prometheus last time we faced him, don't blame Dora. You know, he basically said the same thing. It's not her fault.
The thing is, I did do it, so it is my fault. I'm gonna go.
Dora?
Okay. Well, at this point, I think between what Dora just explained and what I have been saying, haven't stated it outright, but hopefully it is pretty clear to you at this stage as to who exactly Dora is. Okay. And the daughter of the god of the dead shall harness each of the hexes of Selene. Huh? We didn't have this before? Oh, what? Why didn't we have that before?
In the light of the moon.
The one that we just picked up, we had certainly had in the past. Oh, it was from when we gifted that nectar to Selene.
I've been attempting what you said before, to focus on a present state of mind. It's proving difficult, because my mind invariably drifts to many possibilities of negative outcomes.
I mean, he is Doom incarnate. I think we have to give him a pass on that one.
I'm familiar with that feeling. We have to consider favorable outcomes side by side and plan for them. Then, at a certain point, all we can do is hope.
Hope? I much prefer a sense of certainty. It's odd to think that my sisters, the Fates, to others represent sheer chance. Matters beyond one's control. Yet to me they made everything so clear. I'd rather trust than hope.
It's an interesting distinction.
You can do both.
But maybe you can do both.
Go pick on someone else.
Oh, one moment.
I'll just clean this up.
Yep.
How'd that get there?
Oh, I wonder. Surely it had nothing to do with
I know
you.
what it's like, being pushed away, having everybody smile to your face, then stab you in the back. Well, for what it's worth, I don't believe a word they're saying about you.
This is one of those classic, oh, I heard what they said about you. Don't worry, it's not as bad as you think. Type of things where it's like, well, no, what are they saying about me?
I see. And to whom exactly are you referring? And can you cite an example of the words purportedly said?
Exactly. I'm pretty sure she's making all this up.
Oh, it's just Odysseus and Hecate. I can't believe they think you're gonna fail, that you don't have what it takes. I mean, I don't want you to succeed, but I never pretended otherwise.
Right, and now she's just name-dropping our closest allies to try to sow some doubt in us.
You're trying to undermine them.
I'm just trying to help.
Sure you are. 'Cause that's always what you do.
Another victory for the unseen.
Okay, it does seem like now, more or less, every time you pop in here after a successful run, you get a round of applause, which is not really what I intended to do. I was just trying to see if any of our friends were hanging out over there. Alright, we are still waiting for this to show up. We think have some fish to cash in here, not a crazy amount though. I think we're gonna fall a little bit short of what would probably be our preferred thing to purchase, this nightmare. I think we're probably just gonna save up. And then it might be worth buying some nectar, because in general, we need a lot of it at this stage. We're kind of catching up on that.
I'll take the special.
We didn't do a lot of it in the past, though we had been trying to gift to Dora and to Odysseus as of late, and what with the whole Dora revealing her past thing, it does seem like that has made it a little more difficult to gift to her. Because she generally leaves once that happens.
Just right.
Okay, we get... Oh, that gives 3 all at once. I did not realize that. Okay, these are the crafting recipes that I was referring to before. The Z sand, Zodiac sand, and the unknown resource. Well, I guess we don't know what the quantity we need of the unknown resource is, so that's what it used to look like for both Zodiac sand. It had that 3 question marks, and I think it was some item that had art. I can't remember if it was theoretically possible to get it from Chaos. It looked like something from Chaos. Maybe it was there, and just because it had the 3 question marks, it also meant that functionally it was impossible to complete that crafting recipe in the early access, or if it was something that had art, but there was no way you could actually get it. Okay, so I am kind of tempted, especially since we did just pick up some more nectar. I think we got a little bit along that run as well. Get some more of these so we can upgrade our familiars more.
It's cooking.
Cook some of that up. And then chat with Hecate, who I think does have some explaining to do, because how did we have that information that we just passed on to Zagreus?
Dissolution of time, disintegration of monstrosity, connected incantations, negating that which has already come to pass, and violently terrible use of our craft.
And now I'm realizing, as she's discussing incantations, maybe it was worth talking to her before we used an incantation that was going to make the cauldron inaccessible for another run.
But
at least for the rest of this instance.
How did you discover such incantations? You practically know more of Kronos than he does himself.
Yeah. Valid question.
When I learned of what Kronos had done to you and the rest, I refused to accept it, but I studied him nevertheless. Power always contains the secrets of its own undoing.
Sure. It's a little vague.
Even his and Typhon's.
Even his and Typhon.
Feels like a bit of a cop-out, that explanation. Nemesis.
We did it again.
We did do it again, despite you continually trying to say that we keep failing.
Can't kill Kronos, can't kill Typhon, so what now?
We keep on killing them.
Doing this till somebody gives up? Thought we had a better plan.
They do keep on coming back, but that's a little different, okay? Give us some credit here.
The Titan thinks he took the upper hand by awakening that monster. But we'll turn that setback into our gain. Typhon is immensely powerful, a power we can use.
Whoa, slow down, Malinois. I'm not sure we want to be attempting to tame the father of all monsters. That feels like that could backfire big time.
You really think the Titan would just offer up the key to his own undoing like that? Doesn't sound particularly smart.
Although that is kind of an interesting idea. Come to think of it, he released Typhon. Hecate was just saying, hey, power will also always reveal how to undo it, how to undo itself. And so, perhaps Kronos, by releasing Typhon, has given us the answer for how to get rid of Typhon. Obviously, they are in completely different places. Typhon's at the very tippity top of Mount Olympus on the surface, whereas Kronos is at the very bottom of the underworld. But if we could somehow get them in the same place at the same time and to fight each other, could they basically just cancel each other out? Get them both to defeat each other in a relatively permanent way, and then suddenly all of our troubles are gone? That'd be nice.
The plan was always to exploit what he doesn't know.
Think he knows a lot more than you.
I think I was always kind of assuming we were going to take them both on and defeat them individually, as has been the case thus far with each of our runs.
You did it.
That we did. I'm going to gift to you... no, I guess we'll talk first.
Were you aware that Scylla and Charybdis had teamed up?
Now, of the various boss enemies, I think Odysseus has by far the most experience firsthand with Scylla and Charybdis.
Oh, you could certainly say that. Why do you ask?
He encountered both of them directly, or well, technically avoided Charybdis by going towards Scylla.
Performance. It was quite a spectacle, to say the least. You could have forewarned me that the two were working in concert.
Goddess, forgive me, but I thought it was quite common knowledge that Scylla and Charybdis were collaborating. It's not a new development at all.
I mean, he's right. As I said, it's mythologically accurate. It's consistent.
Perhaps I merely missed the news.
Consistent with the Odyssey. Okay, but, oh, before I forget, we do want to gift to you now, and it is the bath salts. Now, admittedly, I do feel the need to acknowledge the elephant in the room here. That we're going to the hot springs as Melinoe with Odysseus, who is a married man. So this does feel strange, but I'm just going to accept the fact that this is culturally a different time and place than the culture that I'm used to. So maybe this is fine.
I was just thinking nothing clears the mind like a refreshing, burning hot soak. Care to accompany me?
Oh, I do enjoy a good relaxing bath, even whilst dead.
Oh, that's true, he is also technically dead.
No to a goddess, so why not?
Perfect.
I know your customs and mine aren't quite the same, but my eyes are going to remain averted here, if that's all right.
Okay. Thank you, Odysseus, because I was going to say that this could be the making of a very awkward situation.
Would mortals often bathe, Odysseus?
Yeah, actually that is... Obviously it is, or at least was, a very important part of the sort of ancient Greek culture, the bathhouses, and hot springs like this. But it's one thing if you're human, it's another thing if you're a goddess, which technically, of course, Melinoe is.
Oh, well, perhaps once in a while, when they could. Though seldomly both men and women at the same time. Doing so could seem untoward.
Oh, actually, now I'm remembering going back through the Odyssey. You know, there are a lot of times in the Odyssey where I'm pretty sure it does go in some detail about people bathing themselves, not just in like a quote-unquote normal way in the modern times, but like bathing themselves in... Okay, you know, let's just say that was a thing. That was a big thing back then. I'm not going to go into vivid detail about it. Read the Odyssey, read the Iliad, and you can see for yourself that that was a much more significant piece of the culture back then.
I see. We gods have no such shame, I realize. Have I made you uncomfortable?
Me? No, of course not. In fact, I've bathed with goddesses before. It's been a little while.
I think that is true. Again, from the Odyssey, but I forget which specific goddess he's referring to.
Oh, that's all right. Doubtless you'll recall the finer points. You mostly just have to try and let go your burdens.
Should be simple, as I've many of those. In fact, no matter how many I let go, it seems some yet remain. But being here does help.
Well, as long as it's agreeable for you.
It is. Agreeable. It is.
All right.
Well,
time passes.
I don't know about you, but I am properly relaxed, I'd say.
Admittedly, in hindsight, yes, that actually is good for that incantation at the cauldron, which should now potentially be done. Ideally, we would have harvested and then replanted some seeds, but that's a minor little bonus we would have gotten. Oh well. Okay, because yeah, 12 time has now passed. Okay, it's not quite enough for that to be ready. Darn. Now all this stuff should be good to go. Just probably order of operations would have been a little more optimal had we done this first.
Grow strong.
think we had a bit of a surplus last time, perhaps in part because Hecuba, the familiar that we took on the previous run, increases the probability of you getting those diggable and then plantable resources, so it's probably not a coincidence, at least from that one. Still no updates from Hypnos? Not yet. Okay, so I think that means we've done everything here. Can check back in, of course, with Skelly, see if he has anything to say to us.
The Slayer of Titans returns.
Indeed. Oh, the two-piece signs, let's go! From those shades. Those shades are the best.
One must at times hold fast to one's emotions, and at others know to let them loose. And when you want to let them loose, or try out one of them nocturnal arms, know that I'm here.
Indeed. You are, in fact, a bit of a punching bag.
Anger is for Kronos, sir. You made it safe and sound.
One of the guys who we brought back this time. Alright, another successful run. That time it was with the skull, with what is probably my favorite aspect on the skull, and I think we got a good demonstration of why that can be once you set it up with a lot of attack damage and a decent special helps as well. But if you can get the hammer upgrade, that means you can use the Valkyrie form for longer to spam the machine gun effect, and get a whole bunch of plasma to increase your attack speed even more. It becomes pretty crazy just how effective that can be. So it helped lead us to another successful run defeating Kronos, and we learned more about how we are planning to defeat him with the help of Zagreus. As for next time, we'll take a look at what the bonus bones weapon is, see which direction we're supposed to go, how much fear we would need to have. We have done a few runs going down now in a row, so might prefer to go up for the next one, in which case maybe we'll make some adjustments, won't necessarily have everything aligned, but may make sense for us to try to take down Typhon next either way. So thank you all for watching, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you all in the next one.